6 o'clock, good morning, live from the 104.5 The Zone Studios. I'm Justin Hawkins. The Titans were awarded safety Jarek Reed off waivers yesterday from the Seattle Seahawks. Reed was waived by Seattle on Tuesday after he was promoted to the active roster from the practice squad. Reed was a sixth-round pick back in the 2023 NFL Draft out of New Mexico. In other NFL news, Cardinals are placing quarterback Kyler Murray on injured reserve due to his foot injury he suffered against the Titans. Meanwhile, meaning he will miss the next 4 games at the very least. Texans head coach DeMeco Ryans said quarterback C.J. Stroud will be out this week versus the Jacksonville Jaguars as he remains in concussion protocol. Texans backup quarterback Davis Mills will get the start. Newly acquired Colts cornerback Sauce Gardner, who's been out since Week 7 with a concussion, was a full participant in practice yesterday. Head coach Shane Steichen said Gardner will play this week if he can clear that concussion protocol. Week 10 of the NFL season kicks off tonight as the 7-2 Broncos host the 2-6 Raiders in Denver with kickoff at 7:15 on Prime Video, or you can hear Westwood One's coverage on The Zone starting at 7 o'clock. And in the NHL, they now have its first member of the 900 goal club. Washington Capitals forward Alex Ovechkin makes history once again as he scored his 900th career NHL goal last night against the St. Louis Blues in the second period. For all your foundation repair and waterproofing needs, you got to go to USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans involves. This is 104.5 The Zone.
Thursday morning at 104.5 The Zone starts right now. A very good Thursday morning to you. It is 50 degrees outside. The sun is starting to come up. Going to be a good day. Friday Junior is how we know Thursdays around these parts. Makes it a little bit easier to get out of bed, to start the morning, to get going. And we'll help you for the next 4 hours through that process as well with Ramon Foster, Justin Hawkins, our producer. I'm Will Boulding. Yesterday, the Tennessee Titans had a lengthy and, I thought, very positive press conference. Mike Bergonzi spoke. He gave us a lot of nuggets. We'll get you Thursday 3 weekend picks coming up at hour 2. Voice of the Vols, Mike Keith at 8:20. And voice of the Titans, Taylor Zarzer, joins us at 9:20. He is on the call for Vandy and Auburn, the Battle of Nashville, this upcoming weekend. 615-737-1045. Good morning, Mr. Foster. How are you doing?
Good morning, Will. The Battle of Nashville was pretty solid right there.
Am I wrong?
No, you are not wrong at all, man. At all. Good morning, though, man. What do we have to do yesterday? Oh, by the way, the banquet went off well on Tuesday night, too, just so you
good.
know.
Any updates on Garrett?
Yeah, updates on Garrett. Garrett made AB honor roll. He got a medal for that one.
Yes.
And I think he ended up getting something, too, for all county. So Garrett did pretty good in the trophy ceremony, man. And they all got rings, too, by the way. Amazing. Like, 4 times in a row is actually pretty cool, man. Shout out to the guys.
Not bad.
It went well. It went real good, though. We went to this venue right off the cusp, like right off of 24 in Nashville. It was nice. I walked up to it, or when we drove up to it, somebody was like, this is the nicest middle school banquet I've ever been to in my life. I was like, yes, it is. Win more.
That's the goal.
Yeah, absolutely.
Love it.
Other than that, though, yesterday was busy. I left here, man, and just gotten a crazy amount of unnecessary work done, man. But that's neither here nor there. I did get a workout in, though.
Good for you.
Yes.
I skipped mine yesterday, and I wasn't even that busy.
Don't you hate that, though?
I know. It's okay.
What I will say, if
you
you
get 3 in a week,
I've kind of given this warning over the time, like time and time again. If y'all see me in whatever gym I am in, and I only got like 185 pounds on the bar, mind your business, okay?
What's wrong with that?
I'm just saying.
185 is pretty good.
I put that in my group chat with my brothers yesterday with Nardo, Ron, and Josh. And they kind of criticized me a little bit. I was a little
lift
shocked.
were you doing?
I was just regular bench.
You're bench pressing 185.
Bar benching.
Yeah.
Yes.
So what's wrong with that?
I told him, I was like, one, it doesn't feel. All of
pretty
us,
dang good.
All of us have played football before. Okay, so like the idea of bench pressing is just like 185 is like forever been like whatever. This is a week warm up. Yesterday, 185 felt like I was working just slightly. You know what I'm saying? I hadn't really done bar benching like that because one, I don't want to spot. in the gym either. I want to be able to just comfortably lift what I want to lift and get out. Well, it felt a little heavier yesterday is all I'm saying. Just because I hadn't done it in a while. And they criticized me. It's like, one, Mo, why are you even doing free weights anyway? I was just like, well, I'm lifting for life. They didn't want to hear that. They didn't want to hear that. I was
Just
like,
maintenance?
You need to be on machines is what they told me.
Wow.
It was like nobody in this group chat is lifting free weights anymore. My brother-in-law said he put 225 on a back squat. He was like, got it off the rack. It didn't go down. Said he put it right back. I was like, you played football for 15 years of your life. You don't want to lift anymore. Clearly, nobody wants to lift anymore.
See, that's interesting because you and I are the same in that you that is so much of your day-to-day job as a football player is lifting, and you're like, I don't want to do this as much because you're on the Stairmaster, you're going cardio, walks, you're
abs,
jogging, whatever. Meanwhile, I'm on the other side. Like I will lift like significantly more than I used to then because in my college career as a distance runner, it was not in my best interest to have any sort of muscle mass. It's just going to weigh me down. And so then obviously I ran 70 to 80 miles a week at times at like an average of 6 to 6:30 miles on easy days. And now I don't run a 10-minute mile once for the fun of it because that's not fun to me. I want to do the other side of the sport. So it's like we swapped post our sports. Obviously, comparing what I did as a sport to what you did is completely disrespectful to you because
but it's not.
I wasn't a pro athlete. I was a mid to low level walk on at a Division I school in distance running. So not the same thing. I get that, but it is just funny to me how we've switched.
We have
how we live our adult lives.
Hey, they really just came up and was like, Mom, why are you even like doing free weights? You should be on the Smith machine. You should be on all machines.
It's like I'm doing Thursdays or Fridays are when I do like my full like upper and lower.
Yeah.
So I'll go today and do bench and front squats, all these things. I love it. It's great.
I deal with it, is what I tell you. I don't love it at all. I'd much rather do 30 minutes of cardio, and that's the Stairmaster. I'll hit the treadmill and run in intervals.
Hate that so much.
I'll walk my neighborhood, like 2 laps around my neighborhood is 2 miles. Like, I'll do that easy. I'll even hit a jog in between, like intervals. You're anti that. Me, I would run way more or do cardio way more before I want to lift again. Oof. I don't know. I'm weird, but I need to lift. But still, 185 is just where I'm at right now, man. And I do leg press though. I will do that. Will not do back squats at all.
How do you view cable machines versus free weights?
Cable machines is where it's at. I'll be honest with you. I did some cables yesterday.
Cable machine.
Do you? I like
because
them.
They sometimes can make you have improper form. Where free weights, the only reason why you would have improper form is your own fault. So like it's up to you to do it. I don't know. It's just based on my training with soccer, with athletic training and stuff like that. Free weights is the way to go to have better form. Where if you're doing a squat on a cable machine, you're more likely to kind of start going backwards on a squat than you are with a free weight.
You ain't gonna hurt yourself on a cable machine though.
You can. You sure can. Okay, imagine doing a deadlift. As you're lifting the bar up, your back still is compromised because you're using your back versus your legs. It doesn't matter.
Okay. All right. I believe you. You're the trainer.
Fantastic.
Me, I'm the stubborn athlete.
Listen to me. I'm just kidding.
I'm the stubborn athlete, man.
I just would always prefer free weights because it's up to you to have proper form. And that was one thing that I always focused on is proper form.
Proper form.
Fair enough.
All right. Well, just know 185 on the bar. Just mind your business. If you see me struggling, come help me.
Fair enough. 615-737-1045 on Twitter at Ramona Will, where you can stream the show and interact with the show. How much better do you feel about the Tennessee Titans in 2025 after listening to Mike Borgonzi speak yesterday? I'm curious how many fans were still locked in on this. I'd be interested to hear 615-737-1045. How many of you heard the GM yesterday? We will play a good bit of it coming up here in about 10 minutes. Ramon, I thought he handled himself really well. I thought it was direct. I thought he addressed a lot of the negatives of this season and didn't shy away from those things. But I also thought that he painted a picture on the why on some of the moves they made. And to be honest with you, I expected what you expected when we spoke at the end of the show yesterday, that he wasn't going to give us much, just because how often do GMs really give you much in the middle of the season?
Never.
I thought he really gave us some nuggets and some things. We're going to spend a lot of time on this press conference today because he gave us a lot of substance yesterday.
He did. I thought this the smartest guy I feel like they've ever put up in a podium in like the last 2-3 years. Like, legitimately to give the answers that he did, to take a couple of them to the face too with some of the, I guess, piercing, hard questions that folks thought that he shouldn't answer, and he did. It was fascinating hearing him kind of control it also with his cadence. Looked at everybody, chuckled at some of the answers. I mean, some of the questions that he was asked also. It just seemed as if it was a deeper understanding of what he was put up to do.
Yeah, sure. Right.
And just legitimately, it sounded professional.
I thought he sounded really comfortable. I thought that it was almost a calming press conference. Really. I mean, I thought that it was as good as you really could have hoped for on the explanation of a number of things.
He should be the only one talking, in my personal opinion. If that's how you're gonna conduct a press conference moving forward, he should probably be the only one talking in those situations right there. It's kind of the way I felt. It wasn't any gotcha moments. They tried to catch him in 1 or 2 loops. He didn't run away from those, answering those questions. Here's the other part too. He was comfortable saying, I don't want to give you that information right now because I don't know. That, to me, I felt like was the better part of the conversation other than the answers he gave.
Sure.
I don't want to give you everything that I got, and we're still in the process of it. I thought that was unique, too. And the way he said it, nobody, at least in the room, and I respect everybody in there, nobody pushed back on, well, why don't you have to give the fans this answer? And it's because he was very assertive in how he gave them those answers. I don't have those answers, so I can't give them to you right now. Right. That was good.
I thought so, too. I thought he handled himself well. I thought the answer about Jarvis Brownlee was interesting. We'll do that at 7 o'clock this morning, so stick around for that. But I thought there were a couple of things that really stood out, 3 in particular. Mike Bergonzi on Jeffrey Simmons and why they didn't move him. Well, you'll hear that coming up next. How he evaluates Cam Ward so far this year, and why we should trust him and Chad Brinker. When Chad was here for some of the losing before he got here, that how he is partly hired to fix. Live for the 104.5 The Zone Circus Sports Studio, Kentucky's largest sports book can now be found at Circus Sports at Kentucky Downs. You will hear from Titans General Manager Mike Bergonzi coming up next. What's up? It's Will Bowling. I've got a new obsession this football season, Daisy French onion dip. It is the best snack to bring to a tailgate, to have at a watch party. I just have it around the house all the time because you can dip anything in Daisy French onion dip. Chips, wings, veggies while you're watching the big game. It is the perfect way to snack, and they're at grocery stores all around you. Daisy French onion dip and Daisy ranch dip are a game changer. They taste like homemade dips, and they're made with real herbs and spices, plus other ingredients you'd find in your own kitchen. Make sure you check this stuff out. Terrific dips, French onion dip, ranch dip, available at a grocery store near you. Ramona Will is fueled by Scooters Coffee at 104.5 The Zone, locally owned in Rivergate, Smyrna, Brentwood, White House, or Mount Juliet. Amazing people, amazing drinks, amazingly fast. 615-737-1045. How you jump in. So, Tennessee Titans general manager Mike Bergonzi spoke to the media yesterday for a post-trade deadline press conference. And at the end of the show, I asked Ramon, how much do you think we're going to learn? And you said not much.
I was strong on that one. Because his demeanor didn't make it seem like he would ever want to talk to them or tell them about a plan. And I felt like him now, because he opened up the oppressor with it, understanding what the fan base was now, how spirited the fan base could be. I didn't feel like a guy like him coming from a place like Kansas City would want to be too forthtelling with all the information that he know.
Sure.
And he kind of opened up as much as he could. And it was still, I ain't going to say it was surface level for a guy like him, but he opened up the wounds a little bit and be like, hey, here's what we are. We understand y'all are frustrated. I didn't think you would get much more from that. And he kind of proved me wrong. So shout out to Mike Bergonzi for that. Good on him.
So I want to start from Mike Bergonzi's answers about players who are on the team and things that they are currently doing. We will talk about his answer about Jarvis Brownlee Jr. and why he was traded coming up at 7 o'clock, and we'll get reaction to that. But I wanted to start with why they didn't trade Jeffrey Simmons. I thought this was a logical place to begin, considering it was, I think, a lot of the conversation going into this with Quentin Williams' trade to the Dallas Cowboys. This is Mike Bergonzi asked about holding on to Jeff's value, and what Jeff means to this franchise moving forward.
I want to highlight Jeff Simmons. Jeff has been tremendous. Jeff was a player that came in this league and they were winning, and he's gone through some losing seasons here right now. And I communicate with Jeff a lot, and Jeff is a big part of why we're going to turn this thing around here. He is. He's one of the better players in the league. And his leadership with these young guys has been tremendous.
Did you talk to Dallas about Jeff, considering what Dallas gave up for Williams?
I'm not going to get into who we talked. We talked to 31 other teams for the past 3 weeks. So I will not get into any particulars of any moves that we did not make. But I will say with Jeff, just because you asked about Jeff, and I'm not going to talk about any other players here, Jeff is invaluable to us right now, to where we want to go.
When you say building for the future, though, as you did with Draymond, does that not enter into the picture with Jeff as well as your most valuable asset, that could be traded?
Well, you have to weigh those options, and you say it's a business, but like when you weigh those options, you look at it and you say, what do we have here? And he's a pillar here in this organization for what you want, and he's one of the best players in the league in his position, and the way he works every day at practice, I don't know if I've seen a defensive lineman superstar like him, just empty the tank every day at practice. It's impressive, and when your best player does that, and younger guys look to him, that's what you want. That's what I'm talking about being a standard.
So that is Titans general manager Mike Bergonzi speaking yesterday. Is that a fair reason, Ramon, for not trading him, considering you were on the side of this for months now? That if the Titans got to the trade deadline and were not competitive, they should not get rid of, that's a harsh word, but they should get value out of Jeffrey Simmons in the trade market.
For how they view him in this process, that's a fair reason not to. Yeah, I agree. If that's his pattern of thinking, absolutely. He mentioned Jeff being a pillar of this team. Now, that the question I have, because I forget who that was that asked that question about trading away Draymond Jones, and
John
Jeff
Glennon
is still here. Yeah, shout out to John Glennon. And Jeff still being here in this losing. The question I have, and we'll just have to wait and see. We can't speed up this process or hit fast forward on the tape at all. But I wonder how aggressive they will be to make it sustainable for Jeff to be as productive as he is also. That plays a part in it, too. If he's your pillar and you see him work as hard as he does and he pours out the bucket every single day at practice, he's a leader inside and outside of that building. Bergonzi acknowledged how bad it is here, right? I wonder how pressed will he be to make this thing better as quick as he possibly can. That's hiring a head coach, that's surrounding Jeff with more players. I'm getting at, will they be aggressive in free agency? How will they surround Jeff still into building this thing back up? Because, again, while he's in his prime, as what Berganzi's speaking of, you don't want those years to just be a below 500 team constantly.
Right.
That's what I mean. Like, if those are his reasons and Jeff is setting the gold standard for the team.
What's in it for Jeff?
What's in it for Jeff?
Yeah.
And he don't have to answer that question right now, but that has to be a part of, you pat me on my back, but what are you doing for me?
I think a new contract's part of what's in it for Jeff.
Oh, yeah. He's
done through 2027. Jeffrey Simmons, as of today, would become a free agent at 31 years old in 2028. They kind of have a natural out where a lot of that money is up after this year to where they could get out of his deal with only a $10 million dead cap number this offseason. This offseason, if that all is true, and I have no reason to believe it isn't, that Mike Berganzi says about Jeffrey Simmons,
right.
This offseason is a very natural time to reward him and thank him for being the one that's sticking around.
I agree.
And extend Jeff for maybe 1 or 2 more years on top of that deal and raise his guaranteed money number a little bit more. You've got the money to do it. You 100% have the money to do it. And I think it is a very logical time for a Jeffrey Simmons extension this upcoming offseason.
He's earned it.
Especially with the way Milton Williams reset the market, the former Philadelphia Eagle D tackle, now New England Patriot. I think it is a logical time for that. I do think that one way, to your point, that the Titans have made it a little better for Jeff by rewarding him, by thanking him for being the foundation of the defense, is by not trading T'Vondre Sweat this week. Because Jeffrey Simmons and T'Vondre Sweat are the foundation up front of this entire defense. You want those two guys playing at a high level together because they complement one another. And you feel like at their best, when they're healthy, that is a nasty defensive front with them two on the field together. Unfortunately, we haven't seen that at all this season other than a 1 quarter in Denver. And that 1 quarter in Denver is pretty dang good, to be fair as well, in slowing down an offense that looks a lot better now than it did at the beginning of the season in Denver. So,
real quick, you can speak through the press a little bit too.
Sure.
And I don't know if T'Vondre Sweat got people listening or he listens to anything that Mike Berganzi would say, but hearing how Jeff pours out the bucket, I think there's got to be something that T'Vondre Sweat, gets underneath his belt. And
I think it's very fair. Fair.
Yep.
I think it's fair to say Jeffrey Simmons was kept around by the Tennessee Titans because of the value of how many other players that get to play with Jeff are better players because they're playing with Jeff.
Facts.
Like, it's not just, hey, this guy, I think so many times we view these things like Madden ratings. This player is a 78 overall. This player is an 82 overall.
Right.
Well, are some guys that may be 75s, if they're not playing with Jeffrey Simmons, 79s, because they get to work with Jeff every day.
Mm-hmm.
That's a very oversimplistic way to look at it. It is certainly an oversimplification, but I do think it is a relevant comparison to say that Jeffrey Simmons makes a lot of young players better and is going to teach them how to be pros on that defense.
And to your point, the payoff of doing that has to come in the form of his contract while you continue to build this up.
Agreed.
It should be the most celebrated contract, I feel like, that the Titans have seen since Derrick Henry's.
Cam Ward was also discussed by General Manager Mike Berganzi yesterday. How do you evaluate Cam, who has struggled more than most rookie number 1 picks would usually struggle? Mike Berganzi answered with this.
He looks like a rookie quarterback playing on, a team that had the number 1 pick last year, and he is he's developing, and he's developing with a lot of other rookies too as well, right? So we have 2 rookie wide receivers out there playing, Chim and Alec. We have Gunnar playing out there, so they are learning together, and they're only going to be better because of it. And I have full confidence that Cam, because of his work ethic, because of his drive, that he will fix things that he needs to fix, just like every quarterback in this league, though. And I have full confidence that he's going to get there.
Still confident, as you should be. There hasn't been enough time or enough bad to lose your confidence in a guy that you spent the number 1 overall pick on. Mike Berganzi kind of caught himself, didn't he?
He did. He found
saying he looks like a number 1 overall pick quarterback on a bad team. And he stopped himself from saying bad team and said on a team that had the number 1 overall pick last year.
That was, but again.
He got a little comfortable and then he stopped himself.
You can say that or you can say we ass. You see the difference?
Well, but, all right.
No,
he didn't say that.
No.
I see what you mean.
My point being made is
like that's the way you should say that.
You can say we're bad without throwing us under the bus.
He did it in the right way. I'm not being critical of Mike. He did it in the right way.
And that's why I'm like not pushing back. As you, but like I'm just like that's the difference right there in having him up there. I don't know Chad intimately or anybody else that's been up there and speaking in these type of settings right there. But whoever they choose to allow to be at those podiums moving forward like this, like, you know what Mike Borgonzi wanted to say right there. But he didn't give you the pleasure of saying the way you wanted to be heard.
Sure. Speaking of Chad, Mike Borgonzi did answer a question about Chad Brinker. Being asked about the trust level from the fan base in him versus Chad, who hired him, yet was also here for the losing that helped earn the Titans the number 1 overall pick. This was Mike Borgonzi on his relationship with Chad Brinker.
It's a good question, and it's a fair question. And with Chad, I can go back to when we were in Kansas City. There was a few of us that were on that staff there that ended up being 2-14. I think that 2012 year. It was myself, Ryan Poles, Brant Tillis. Ryan Poles is a GM now. It's Bears. I'm here. Brant Tillis is a VP of operations with the Carolina Panthers. So what I'm trying to say is that, like, even though there's, we were losing at the time, there's still really good people in the organization. I get the question. I do. And Chad is invaluable to me. Chad hired me, Amy hired me to really construct the roster. That's what they hired me for. And they empowered me to do that. And what Chad does is, he has knowledge in scouting. He's got knowledge in the salary cap, strategy. Chad is really smart. And Chad supports me with all the decisions that I make. And it's no different in every other organization. You can say the titles and who's above who. It's the same structure in every organization. You got the GM, you have your, VP of strategy cap, and then you get the head coach. And whatever title you want to give them, those are the 3 people that work together to make decisions. And there's no one person that, like, if he's got the 53, I'm going to go rogue and just make a pick. But they empowered me to make those decisions here, to draft players, to sign players, to construct the roster.
It's Titans GM Mike Borgonzi yesterday. What stands out from that answer to you?
The way he spoke about the partnerships he's had at other places, and he's just not going to go rogue with the decisions, or, hey, he's here to build the roster. Chad, he seems to me as he tried to separate what Chad does. Chad's job is to free agency, scout guys, look at that side of it, and it's on him to kind of build it up. The one thing I would say is that was my only just X when it came down to anything that Mike Borgonzi had to say yesterday, because historically here, that situation, that relationship, one has gotten rid of the other and one has replaced the other. And you want to see if that's going to settle itself. Is Chad in the situation right now to where he say, you know what, Mike, you know what you're doing. Go do your thing. And Borgonzi acknowledged that that's the way he wanted it to be. But it's a matter of, I think, in the last 5 years, seeing that relationship not clip the other. There's been a lot of that, and especially the way Borgonzi presented himself yesterday. A lot of people are going to be on the Mike Borgonzi train of like, yes, we want Mike to lead the charge. Now, if Chad is okay and comfortable in his career and play the background, fine. There's no issue, no threat whatsoever. And he somewhat explained that. It's like there's no threat between us. We all have our own separate jobs and we work together. You just got to see that through this time.
Yeah. It makes sense. I mean, to me, I do think that Mike articulated a lot more maybe of the day-to-day responsibility than we knew that he definitely didn't have. maybe not we. I think maybe the fan base. I think he is being more open about what he does.
Yeah.
Because every time we say that the Titans did something good or bad, it's hard to attribute that responsibility to one person, considering the ambiguous roles between President of Football Operations Chad Brinker, who we know on the record has final say on the roster and on the decisions that this team will make from the football side of things. Jeremy Fowler has explained that he is more the 5-year, 10-year plan guy, and that Mike Borgonzi is more the 1-year plan guy, and the coach is more day-to-day. So what does that tangibly look like? Well, I think Mike Borgonzi did a good job of explaining that yesterday. They've empowered me to make signings and put together the roster. I think Mike was smart to make this seem like a normal arrangement. I think the fan base, Ramon, talking to people and seeing our F&M Bank chat and hearing from callers, feel like the Titans are doing this very differently than a lot of other teams. I think Mike did well to say, like, no, there's nothing really super different about this. Just some of the titles are different. Is that fair? Do you think
Absolutely.
that is the case?
It is. So here's the thing. This is a really good comment. Broderick in our YouTube chat says this from Facebook. Name the one person in Annapolis, Chris Ballard and who? I think Borgonzi, if he continues this pathway, that's what you'll end up saying. It's just the way this thing was set up when it was Ran, A-Rob, A-Rob, and Chad. It was publicly acknowledged that there was a separation of power.
Anthony Robinson, the other assistant general manager that was brought in with Chad.
And they all worked separately.
Yeah.
With this one, if you have Borgonzi saying, I'm here on the day-to-day and making these types of transactions, to me, that's Chris Ballard in Indianapolis.
Right.
Like, usually you don't hear from the president of operations like this. Like, nobody heard from Omar Khan. Like, my structure in Pittsburgh was Kevin Colbert, and I knew Omar Khan. I can tell you anybody else. Omar was the numbers guy. Omar never talked. You knew about him and how you set things up. Right now, it's the exact same thing. It's Omar Khan as the GM. I don't even know who the capologist is at that point. What I'm getting at is through success and through one voice also, you get a Chris Ballard situation in Indianapolis, right? You don't have to worry about who else is behind the scenes getting the credit for, because the one thing that I know in sports and like that type of business, if you're successful, everybody eats. Now, if egos get in the way, which I doubt, because there's been so much wrong, I feel like here as of late, and such a bad reputation, I almost feel like Chad Brinker has to take the backseat and kind of let Mike Borgonzi be out front, make the decisions, have these conversations, because if Borgonzi is on the roster and the signings and the setup, I honestly, until like it's owners meetings, combine, you don't have to hear, in my personal opinion, from Chad Brinker at all.
And to the draft class too. And Mike, in his opening statement, made the comment saying, talking about how good the draft class is, talking about how special the draft class was. And he said, and that's not just because I picked them. Made the statement saying, I picked them.
Yeah.
I thought we got more of a definition of roles and power yesterday than we have in a long time. Yep. And I think that's needed for the fan base. I think it's needed for us. I think it's just needed to know who's making the decisions on a day-to-day basis.
And it's
Mike Borgonzi.
Yeah.
It's the general manager of the team. So what does that mean moving forward? It means that the guy making the decisions put together a heck of a draft class, and he's going to have the opportunity to do it again. I think it's good news for the Titans. Here's where I'm curious, and I'd love to hear calls on this and y'all's reaction on this. Did it make you feel any better? You just heard some of it that we played back for you here just now. You may have listened to it live yesterday. Did Mike Borgonzi's words and press conference yesterday make you feel better about the future of the Tennessee Titans, or do you need to see more? 615-737-1045. Has your opinion changed? Do you feel a sense of calmness when it comes to the plan moving forward? We'll get to your reaction coming up next.
Smashville hockey. Around here, it can sound like a language of its own. But hey, if you can pronounce Demumbrian, then names like Yossi, Shea, and Marchessault will roll right off the tongue. Nashville Predators, only in Smashville.
We got a lot of answers yesterday from Titans general manager Mike Bergonzi. What is your reaction? If you heard it live here on The Zone yesterday, if you just heard a lot of the answers for the first time here in Hour 1 this morning, do you feel any better about the future of the Titans after hearing from the GM? Ramona Will, fueled by Scooters Coffee, Ramon Foster, and Will Bowling. Let's go to the phones and hear from the people and start with Henry in Lebanon. First up. What's up, Henry? Good morning.
Morning, Harry.
Good morning, Ramon. Good morning, Will.
What's up?
I have to be brutally honest this morning, fellas.
Okay.
I'm hurt, man. I went to the Titans game a couple weeks ago and watched live versus the Patriots and Mike Vrabel. I'm gonna be, like I said, I'm gonna be brutally honest, man. I do not feel any better hearing anything about Mike Bergonzi or anything along those lines. Mm-hmm. Last year wasn't a good year for us. This year somehow we got worse. I don't think all the blame was Brian Callahan. I was never a Brian Callahan fan, but I don't think he is the reason we are where we are right now. I think that, Mike Bergonzi, yeah, he's made some good decisions as far as draft picks, but we've digressed. We've got worse. We have a few good rookie wide receivers. We got Cam Ward. He's looking good at certain times, but I do not feel any better about it.
Yeah.
Okay.
I kind of acknowledged that too, Henry, earlier in the show. Remember what I told you was like, it's a matter of fan base going to have to see it, though, too. Like, Bergonzi checked the box as far as one voice, one sound. But the way this is going to have to kind of play out is over time, though, too. Is that how you kind of close off yesterday a little bit? Did you have that thought, Will?
Have what thought?
As far as like, okay, that sounded good from Bergonzi. Check the box as far as one voice, one sound, but like the actions of everything.
Yeah, you still have to earn the trust, and Mike said that over the press conference, saying that we understand we have to earn the trust back from this fan base that we're making the right decisions for the future. They understand that over there, that you can say all the right things. And I think yesterday Mike Bergonzi did say all of the right things. Yeah. Now you have to go do it, and the plan has to actually work. Having a plan is not the win. Mm-hmm. The plan working is the win with the fan base. So
I agree.
Appreciate the call, Henry. I think that is the thing I want to know. Where are the fans at this point? What are you going to have to see on the field to earn your trust back? And that's where I still think that this season there is football left to be played that can start that process. That process doesn't have to start in 2026. I think that this team's ability to win a couple of games, upset some teams, especially in this month of November where they're not going to leave Nashville and we don't have to break down Booth 7 at Nissan Stadium until we head to Cleveland the first week in December. Like, this is a very natural time to start gaining a little bit of momentum. And I know that you haven't had a full offseason to put a lot of what Mike Bergonzi said into practice and use a lot of these draft picks to get better football players and draft young, quote-unquote, Titan DNA players. But I do think from what Bergonzi said yesterday, there's a chance you're going to get your defensive front back starting next weekend against the Houston Texans, where you hope to get Jeffrey Simmons back from a hamstring, you hope to get Arden Key back from his quad, and actually be able to play with Devondre Sweat for the first time since week 1.
Yeah. I do wonder in how he kind of explained everything. It kind of settled the conversation when it came down to the trades. Everybody here is, locked in and meets the standard that this team want to see. I wonder what does it do for the coaches, although he did acknowledge that, pulling away from Denard is something that's a challenge to him, but it's also the bigger plan that he has, Bergonzi, that is, for this team and how he wanted to look moving forward. So anytime you can get value for Draymond Jones, you got to go take that, even if it hurts, Denard Wilson. The one thing, too, I thought was super unique, he praised the coaches a good bit yesterday, all of them, when it came down to the job that they were doing. Here's the unique thing about being in the NFL. Everybody wants to be there, especially in the coaching world, number one. So you hope moving forward that those guys understand that their careers are still in the limbo too, when it comes down to the respect and how they close out this season for Denard and for Bo and for Mike McCoy and everybody else involved in this. They still have to go coach guys up. So hopefully you get the best out of them moving forward now that everything is settled. You can't trade anybody else. Only thing that can hurt you is injuries. That's it at this point.
We know that Bones Fossil is someone the new head coach should at least try to keep around. That's a known fact at this point. John Bones Fossil is such a good special teams coach. You want him around. Do you think that the Titans should make a recommendation that Denard Wilson should stay on as defensive coordinator?
They could. We saw Robert Kraft do that with Mike Vrabel, right?
With Josh McDaniels. They could. If he closes this thing out and he think he's, number one, his guy, Chimere Dike, Borgonzi's guy, if he think he's best for his career moving forward too, and everything is settled as far as the way they love the way he run his scheme, yeah. As one position, I personally don't think you should change because the league, the NFL, is so interconnected when it comes down to coaches and relationships anyway. Somebody probably know who Bones Fossil is. Whoever the next guy is, respect him enough, trust him enough. I don't think Bones Fossil's in a position to overstep somebody for another head coaching job. I don't know if that's his desire. So what I'm saying is he's non-threatening in his role, but you also get the ability to have a very professional coordinator on that side of the ball that you don't have to worry about. Talking about Bones or Denard?
Bones.
Yeah, Bones. It's the easiest win ever.
Yeah.
Like, you got to try to keep Bones right. I'm talking more about Denard.
Denard, I just don't see it working in his favor.
Why not? I think the era of inconsistency the Titans have had, and the amount of coaches they have had to change, having some level of continuity with a defensive coordinator who you believe in and you believe has done a good job despite everything else that has gone on around him, that is one way that you could have a little bit of continuity on this coaching staff.
I agree. My reasoning for my hesitation on that one is because a head coach usually comes in and gets his OC and his DC. Special teams coaches are usually the last outfit in those, and that's why I think Bones being here is more settled. The Denard situation, to me, kind of leads it to, one, the experience of him and just the communication between
he doesn't have enough experience? Or
with where this team is at, I just feel like head coaches want to make sure they bring in their OC and their DC primarily. It's how I see these types of situations. Not saying that Denard can't do the job, but if you're telling me if you're going to keep Bones or you're going to keep Denard, why did you fire Brian to begin with anyway? And then also, if the new head coach comes in, why are you going to handcuff him on these type of decisions?
Sure.
Now, at the reference of the team wanting Denard to stay is one thing. If the new head coach interviews Denard Wilson and wants him to stay, that's another. I think in this situation, the head coach is going to bring in his own guy, despite whatever job that Denard Wilson does. Now, is it unfair? Yeah, because he's doing a really good job with less now.
Sam on YouTube says, tell me, Will, what is the Titans' DNA from your seat? Well, I think the Titans' DNA is going to be more of this draft class. Guys who are captains, guys who clearly work very hard on the practice field, guys who do not have red flags in the law and in getting in trouble on their college football teams. I think there are a number of players that weren't even on the Titans board during last draft that were on a lot of other boards. A leaner, more fit team that is a little bit more, or has a little bit more muscle mass and the body fat percentage. We don't have those numbers, obviously, but I think they do. They have a physical type. They want leaner, more athletic overall football players because they feel like those guys are less injured. And they want guys who have been leaders on good football teams in college. That's the answer.
Yeah.
That's what I got for you. I think if you want to know what the type looks like under Mike Borgonzi looking forward, look at the rookies drafted in 2025.
Yeah.
Coming up, what Mike Borgonzi said about Jarvis Brownlee Jr. and why he was traded. Interesting stuff to begin hour 2 coming up next.
It's Ramon and Will here for Window Nation, man. They are an A+. They have an A+ rating from the Better Business Bureau. Their windows, you're probably questioning, how good are they? Well, here's how good they are. They do a 50-point inspection on every window before it leaves the factory. They also do a 20-point inspection on every window when it is installed. They got 96% customer satisfaction rating and over 45,000 five-star reviews. Window Nation has installed over 3 million windows across this country. Well, and they're just simply good and they're a great product.
This time of year, you are wanting to keep the warm air inside, not let the cold air from outside get in. Having the best windows in the market from Window Nation helps make that possible. Take advantage of Window Nation's end-of-year sale through November, 50% off all Windows styles. You can get 0% interest financing for 5 years. Window Nation measures 3 times to ensure windows fit perfectly and keep your home comfortable year-round. Head online, schedule an appointment today at windownation.com. Schedule a fast, free estimate now online with the pros at Window Nation at windownation.com.
It is 7:01. Good morning, live from the 104.5 The Zone Studios. I'm Justin Hawkins. The Titans were awarded safety Jarek Reed off waivers yesterday from the Seahawks. Reed was waived by Seattle on Tuesday after he was promoted to the active roster from the practice squad. Reed was a sixth-round pick back in the 2023 NFL Draft out of New Mexico. In NFL news, Cardinals are placing Kyler Murray on injured reserve due to his foot injury he suffered against the Titans, meaning he will be out at least the next 4 games at the minimum. Texas head coach D'Amico Ryans said quarterback C.J. Stroud will be out this week versus the Jacksonville Jaguars as he remains in concussion protocol. Texans backup quarterback Davis Mills will get the start. Newly acquired Colts cornerback Sauce Gardner, who's been out since Week 7 with a concussion, was a full participant in practice yesterday. Head coach Shane Steichen said Gardner would play this week should he clear that concussion protocol. Week 10 of the NFL season kicks off tonight as the 7-2 Broncos host the 2-6 Raiders in Denver with kickoff at 7:15 on Prime Video, or you can hear Westwood One's coverage on The Zone starting at 7 o'clock. And the NHL, they now have its first member of the 900 Goal Club as Washington Capitals forward Alex Ovechkin makes history once again, scoring his 900th career goal last night against the St. Louis Blues in the second period. For all your foundation repair and waterproofing needs, you got to go to USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
It has been the mystery of the Tennessee Titans for months, and the move maybe of the season that had the most questions to it. As we begin hour number 2, Ramona Will, fueled by Scooters Coffee. Why would you trade a young, developing corner he felt like was a gem just 2 years in for day 3 draft compensation? Well, yesterday, when Mike Borgonzi, Titans general manager, spoke to the media, Ramon, it was our first explanation on why the Titans traded second-year corner Jarvis Brownlee to the New York Jets. Here it is. The reasoning, as Mike Borgonzi didn't even need to be asked about it, and mentioned it in his opening comments.
And I know the first trade we made with Jarvis Brownlee was I'm aware of it. It was controversial around here because he's a young player that, was ascending. And, you're evaluating the fit. And without getting into a lot of details, I like Jarvis, and I think he's going to be a really good player in this league. We don't have the culture right now sometimes to help guys develop right now. And, we thought at the time, just some of the habits weren't conducive to building the culture right now. And I know it's hard to understand because he was a young player, and I wish Jarvis nothing but the best.
Titans GM Mike Borgonzi yesterday. That good enough for you?
Yeah. I think it sounded like it was non-football. It was attitude. They don't have the culture. Jarvis is a very strong-minded, probably vocal player on this team right now. Either the decisions he made in or around what he chose to do or not to do, the influence of a guy like him, coaches couldn't control it or contain it. Is the way I somewhat viewed this one. I wonder if there was a situation that had happened in practice where he made a decision on his lonesome. I wonder if there was a situation in which they recognized other players were also being influenced by him because Jarvis is such a passionate guy. One thing I know about sports is this. If you are a guy that sells out for your team, for yourself, and you back it up also, people are going to follow you. And I wonder if that influenced from Mike Borgonzi's standpoint, he didn't want that being affected by other players receiving that type of messaging from him. He said, don't have the culture right now, meaning there's nobody that could probably have checked him, Jarvis Brownlee, to allow himself to get in line, is the way I view it. I wonder what happened. What decision did either somebody else made because of Jarvis or Jarvis made for himself that made Borgonzi and his staff recognize, no, we can't have this right now.
Right.
It wasn't a fit, whatever it was. That's what he told us. Whatever Jarvis was providing it just wasn't a fit for what Mike Berganzi wants this team to look like, and there's not enough veteran leadership to control that.
Yeah, I think that's the point. I think that's the explanation that we had not been given yet, Ramon, is the fact that there are teams, let's say Philadelphia, for example, who have the veteran leadership and long-standing members of the locker room and players in the locker room who can put their arm around young players who need guidance.
Yes.
The Titans, unfortunately, don't have those veteran players yet.
Not a lot of them.
Sure.
Right?
Again, you do have some of those guys. Like Jeffrey Simmons is absolutely one of those guys.
And that's what I was going to say.
Who you feel like is a leader in the locker room, who is working the kind of way that you want to see players working. In the same way that Keandre Coburn last season, as a veteran defensive lineman, was Tavondre Sweat's mentor and guy that were both Texas guys. You put their lockers next to each other and said, Coburn is here to be Tavondre's big brother. Who was Jarvis Brownlee's big brother in that defensive secondary? I mean, from what Mike Berganzi told us yesterday, it sounded like they didn't feel like they had the players around Brownlee to get the most out of Brownlee. So let's go ahead and get something for him while we can and not sour maybe any part of the locker room. And Berganzi went on to say, he talked more about it from a vague standpoint and said, there is a standard we're trying to create that's hard to articulate. When you're in the locker room, you feel it. You kind of know it when you see it in terms of the kind of player you want in your locker room. And I don't think they had that in Jarvis Brownlee.
So what's fascinating, though, too, is I felt like time and time again, Mike Berganzi drove home the fact they want everyday guys. The way Jeffrey Simmons pours in every single day. He empties the bucket every day at practice. Your availability is to the team always. Jarvis Brownlee got traded how, Will? Injured.
Yeah, he was in a walking boot on September the 21st when the Titans hosted the Indianapolis Colts. He was on the field on October the 5th when the New York Jets played the Dallas Cowboys.
It almost makes it seem as if Jarvis had a injury or an issue that allowed himself to be out. And the fact that Berganzi speaking about Jeff and the standard that he sets for the young guys, it almost makes it seem like however the decision of him maybe or maybe not being injured was a Jarvis decision. And it seems to me that they don't want to have those type of situations ever come up again. Because when you mention like Jarvis and basically his personality, how outward he is, nobody was going to check him if he ever made a decision like that. It's just highly questionable that was brought up time and time again yesterday. And you use the comment that the culture wasn't fit to kind of keep him in a box a little bit. I don't know. Jarvis will speak because he quote tweeted yesterday about the comments.
He certainly did.
At some point, Jarvis, there's no attachment to the Titans. He can say it. It's not conduct detrimental at this point.
This is the same Jarvis Brownlee who was very confrontational to some fans at joint practices in Tampa, to the Titans and Bucks as well. Jarvis Brownlee's never been the type to not speak his mind.
And nobody's going to hold him back either.
Let's go to AG in Nashville, 615-737-1045. What's up, AG?
Yeah, what I got from it, too, is like about Brian Callahan, even with, like, Jeffrey Simmons having to straighten the young offensive tackle, you know, as far as he wasn't just putting out and stuff, you know, like, I feel like that's supposed to come from the head coach, like Vrabel. You know, he was a defensive guy. He wasn't an offensive guru or nothing, but he was a leader. And, you know, like I said, it just kind of speaks to me about Brian Callahan as far as, like, he's supposed to be an offensive juggernaut or whatever, but as far as leadership, I don't think he really just had that. And the GM had mentioned that, you know, the next coach, you know, he got to be a leader. And that's all I got.
Thank you, AG. Appreciate the call.
The other side of this too, like AG, correct in that assessment right there, like that designation has to come down from the head coach and be delivered through the players to everybody else. The way I'm hearing Mike Berganzi speak about this is he's wanting this to be a player-led team, one voice through the locker room too, that allows the players to kind of govern themselves probably more. But you also, to your point, AG, have to have a culture set from the top down that's going to enforce that when need to.
Right.
And the way Borgonzi somewhat explained that culture isn't strong enough in the locker room to kind of enforce issues, to enforce correction of issues through guys like Jarvis Brownlee. That's just what I'm taking from it.
My hunch is that if Titans fans knew every single detail and could be a fly on the wall at Ascension St. Thomas Sports Park to all of the interactions and all of the practices and all of the meetings, they would have more of an understanding of why Jarvis Brownlee was traded. That is my hunch on this situation. And I think Mike Borgonzi treaded very lightly and was not disrespectful to the person, but was smart in the way that he framed it. Look, we don't have the culture to be able to teach guys who maybe aren't willing to be taught how to be pros. We are trying to build that culture and draft enough young players that then become older players to where then maybe, down the road we can take a risk on someone who is a quote-unquote dog. But, Ramon, when everyone wants dogs on the field, there is still an element of professionalism that you've got to have in the locker room. Right. And I think that's where the term dog, D-A-W-G, gets overused at times. And you've probably seen it. Like, there are guys who are dogs on the field who also know when to be students in the classroom.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yep, no doubt about it. James Harrison. You knew where you were going to get from a guy like him. Heck, Ryan Clark, Troy Polamalu was that way too. And I know I'm mentioning guys like that. Marquise Pouncey was probably one of the wildest firecrackers I've ever known when it come down to his attitude to just pop. But when it came down to the business of the game, like, you weren't going to get him away from that business. Now, he got some personal fouls and stuff like that in his career, but you also build up stock to allow yourself to have those type of moments. Heck, Borgonzi's dealt with Chris Jones, correct? Like, Chris Jones is a guy that has an attitude about it, but here's also what you get out of Chris Jones. You get excitement, you get plays, you get accolades, and you get Super Bowls with a guy like him. Jeffrey Simmons is another one.
Yeah, for sure. I think Jeff is a good example of someone who is a dog on the field.
But when it comes down to business, he knows when to step in line, even though he stepped out from time to time himself.
And Jeff would tell you, like, Jeff runs hot.
Yeah, he does.
100%. And it's okay to step over that line every now and then if you feel like the player and the person has the right intention and picks his moments.
Right.
Like, no one's asking for guys to be totally perfect and always be unemotional.
And that's
not the expectation.
No.
Like, you don't want choir boys either, but there has got to be a balance. I think Jeff finds that balance well. Clearly, the organization did not believe that Jarvis Brownlee did a good enough job to balance a lot of those things. Here's the other thing about this, Ramon. You are afforded a certain amount of freedom when you're an all-pro level player.
Yes, you are. Yes, you are.
And that's, like, again, Easton Freeze said it the other day and quoted the fantastic show How I Met Your Mother of the hot crazy scale.
Oh, no doubt. Yeah,
you get the certain amount of graph of how hot you are. That's how crazy you
how crazy you're allowed to be. Yeah.
Jeffrey Simmons, I'm not calling Jeffrey Simmons crazy, but again, I'm talking about the balance. You get a certain amount of baggage when you are a certain level of player. And maybe Jarvis Brownlee was going to get there, but Jarvis Brownlee had not yet proven on the field enough, I think, to have the kind of attitude he did about penalties and about fans and about a number of things that he showed time and time again.
There's one statement I've heard before, was two. Everybody's treated fairly, but not treated the same. We can agree with that. The other one was, and I heard this about a player in Pittsburgh, it was Antonio. Coach Tomlin's mindset was, I'll tolerate you. And this is, I think, all coaches. I'll tolerate you until I can find another one.
Yeah, right.
They went and got Jalen Armour-Davis. They felt like they can go find another Jarvis Brownlee, and his name is Jalen Armour-Davis. And at that point, if I don't have to tolerate you, I won't. That's just it's a beautiful game with a dirty business behind it.
615-737-1045. We'll get to Todd's thoughts on the phones. You can join us there or in the F&M Bank chat, Facebook Live, YouTube, Twitter, or Twitch. Coming up next, a little bit earlier this morning with no Coach Mack today in the bye week. Thursday 3, previewing the weekend slate in the football world and making some picks after this.
One of the largest sports books east of the Mississippi, Circa Sports Kentucky, is now open. Catch all your favorite games on an 80-foot screen with stadium-style seating and live VSiN broadcast daily. Circa Sports, now open at the Mint Gaming Hall, Kentucky Downs.
It's Ramon Foster for Hiller Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical. Man, nobody wants to deal with a plumbing, HVAC, or an electrical emergency at all, especially during this holiday season that's coming up, man. Most of the time, you don't even know what it would cost if it get fixed right, or if somebody's trying to sell you something you do not need. But when you call Hiller, the experts are going to solve your problems quickly, and the price you're told is always the price that you'll actually pay. There are no hidden fees or surprises on your bill when you check out with them. They bring you the tablet, itemize everything, show you the cost, show you parts, labor, all of that, and that's what you pay. They've been in business for over 35 years, and the cool part is they're family-owned and operated. Their techs, very professional, experienced, and trustworthy, and all background and drug screen, too. When they're on the way, you'll receive a photo of that tech and a link to track them in real time. Their motto is, and it's great, happy you'll be of the service is free, and they absolutely mean that. To learn more about Hiller, or if you have an issue around your house, go book like I do. You can visit their website at happyhiller.com.
What if you could pull up to $500,000 in cash out of your home and drop your mortgage rate to 4.99% APR? Hey, it's Will Boulding. Right now at Loan Pronto, they've got the lowest rates in 3 years. With Loan Pronto's Rapid Equity Loan, you can get your cash in as little as 3 days. Pay off all those high-interest credit cards and even skip your next 2 house payments. One client just got $300,000 approved in under 24 hours, paid off their debt, paid off 2 car loans, and saved $2,100 a month. One call, life changed. There's no wait, no hard credit pull up front. You probably won't need an appraisal. Just fast, easy cash from your home's equity. Rates are at a 3-year low, so act now. Call 615-499-5780 or visit loanpronto.com for your free instant home appraisal. See how much cash you can get today. Loan Pronto, A+ rated with the BBB and nearly 2,500 5-star Google reviews. Call 615-499-5780 and see how much cash you can get today. LoanPronto.com. Equal housing lender NMLS 1661781 on approved credit. Visit NMLSconsumeraccess.org. Ramona will fuel my Scooter's Coffee on 104.5 The Zone, 615-737-1045. Usually on Thursdays at 9:20. We do the Thursday 3 and preview the football weekend. Make some picks for you. Well, we're going to do that a little bit earlier this morning. We're going to do it right now. No Coach Mack today. He is out by week. Titans Radio is not on the air this weekend. We'll get back with Mack next Thursday. We will talk with Taylor Zarzer, who is on the call for Vanderbilt and Auburn this Saturday afternoon on West End. We'll do that coming up at 9:20 and the time we would normally do the Thursday 3. I love for Taylor that he has the ability to just stay in Nashville during the bye week and not have to travel to random SEC West cities.
That's a luxury right there. SEC West cities.
I know the SEC West doesn't exist anymore, but a lot of those cities obviously are still SEC West cities in our minds. There is not a good way to get to Starkville, Mississippi.
No,
not a good way to get to Auburn, Alabama. The travel is a challenge in this conference.
But they had one of the best bourbon stores I've ever seen in my life down there.
Now they know how to cook food down there. I never disputed that.
The issue is it was a friggin' museum, though, Will. Like, the dude was overpricing the bottle so much, man. He had some old Fitzgerald in there for like $1,500. I'm like, bro, you ain't gonna come down on that even a little bit? Like,
nice.
And he had like 13, 14 bottles of it. And I'm like, bro, I'm trying to buy from you.
This is the kind of greed they talk about in the Bible.
Yes,
right?
It is. I hope all them doggone bottles fall down. He had everything that you could have imagined, man. I'm trying to come home with 2-3 bottles in a win, and this fool want to have it up like triple the doggone price of it, man. I hope all them bottles fall off. I hope they do. I'm so serious right now.
Also, you know what time of year it is.
Yeah, what's that? It's allocation
for the first
season.
time. Well, yes.
Oh.
Yes, that's what I mean, is that it is certainly more whiskey/old-fashioned season. Made my first smoked old-fashioned.
Did you?
Of the colder weather season yesterday. That is my favorite drink in the world.
Listen.
Is a good smoked old-fashioned.
You're not wrong at all.
Adding smoke to anything, like alcoholic beverage-wise, is A+.
That's good.
Yes, it is.
Very good. All right, let's do it. Thursday 3, the records. I'm getting better.
Okay.
I think I've gotten 2-1 3 straight weeks.
I'm getting worse.
Justin went 0-3 last week. Justin and Ramon are now tied at 16 and 14. I am 13 and 17, but I'm doing better. It's fine. We're making it work.
Mm-hmm.
So since you were 2-1 last week, Georgia Tech of all teams let you down, Ramon.
Let me down, man.
Haynes King, what happened?
Sleep at the wheel. I didn't even get a chance to see it because it's probably shown on ESPN. Shout out to Pat McAfee, too, by the way, too, for his stance he took yesterday on this friggin' ESPN YouTube fiasco that they got going on. I'm so over it.
Yeah, I know Pat McAfee can be a divisive figure at times. I think that a lot of the people that are not Pat people were in Pat's corner yesterday. If you missed it yesterday, essentially Pat McAfee wanted a rant. He does that. Saying, if you work at ESPN, please stop putting out a link of whatever it is, like getespnback.com. He's like, nobody wants to hear that crap.
No, I don't want to hear it at all.
Nobody wants to hear that. Don't stump for the other side of it. Y'all are both in the wrong, Disney and ESPN and YouTube TV. Figure it out.
I'm hot at that. I'm so serious, man. Goodness. But
we haven't talked a lot about that, but it's it's not been fun.
And I've logged out. I've done everything I'm supposed to use Savage's log in. Yeah, screw it. I'm telling them, okay? Until they get it fixed, I'm pirating from one of y'all, okay? But I'm not. So if you're feds, don't come to my house.
Okay.
But I've just not watched ESPN. It's not a thing right now. And I got a bundle. Golly. These people are slow. Okay. I'm moving on.
They'll figure it out.
As you can tell, it's pissed me off.
Yeah, it was a lot of people.
I'm debating dropping YouTube TV and all of them, just in general. I'm going to go back to an antenna.
I do. Literally, I was watching Vandy, Texas on an antenna in Knoxville at a buddy's house over the weekend. It works really easily.
I had antenna in Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
I did. My last year, we didn't pay for cable.
It's easy.
Like, yeah, we
You don't get ESPN, but you get ABC.
And we were streaming everything else, too, because we had Xfinity here, so we could watch it, but on the laptop or whatever, or tablet.
Fair enough.
Yeah. All right, I'm past. That's my rant for today.
All right, well, hypothetically, if you were to watch ESPN, what would your first pick be this weekend on a game you might not be able to watch?
I probably won't even be on ESPN, but I'm going Syracuse, Miami.
Okay.
Miami, who's out of the CFP at this point, I almost feel underperformed team for the most part. I just had a
still win the ACC.
Yeah, that's true too. But Virginia's on the neck right now though too. Which they have they already played Virginia? Either way, I don't have a whole lot more faith in what Miami is. Syracuse is so hot and cold. I feel like there's going to be a hot game for them.
Okay.
I don't know what they are. The quarterback situation is bad.
Oh, it's rough.
It is rough, man. I mean, I'm talking about injury on top of injuries, just bad play here and there. But I believe in Fran Brown's ability to always want to put his foot on somebody's neck. And this is one of those Miami moments right here. I feel like the 28.5 is a whole lot of points. So give me plus 28 Syracuse.
Plus 28.5 is a ton of points. And Syracuse, God bless them, started a freshman lacrosse player at quarterback over the weekend. I mean, it's hard to even judge who they are as a program, who they are as a football team since Steve Angeli's injury. Torn Achilles suffered against Clemson. Since then, I mean, he was the country's leading passer.
Yep. Oh.
He'd been there for like 10 minutes. He was still introducing himself to his teammates. And he was leading the country in passing yards. Then you go to Ricky Collins, the LSU transfer, who went winless in 4 starts against Duke, SMU, Pittsburgh, and Georgia Tech.
Yeah, man.
Then freshman Luke Carney sprinkled in there for 3 games against Colgate, Pitt, and North Carolina. Okay. Freshman walk-on Joe Filardi against North Carolina, the lacrosse player, went 4 of 18 for 39 yards. 147 yards of total offense, Ramon, for Syracuse against UNC. That was the fewest for Syracuse since a loss to Pittsburgh in 2022.
But he'll mess around and beat Clemson. I don't.
Well, he didn't. Steve Angeli did.
I know.
And now he's hurt.
I know. Now he's hurt, but
that's 4 quarterbacks ago.
I don't see him doing 28.5.
Okay. Fair enough.
So clearly he needs a stick to throw the ball.
I wish I understood that reference.
Stick to throw the lacrosse.
Lacrosse.
Oh.
If he's a freshman lacrosse player, he's good at lacrosse, but not good at throwing the football. He needs a stick to throw the ball.
Syracuse very good
I
at
almost
lacrosse.
feel like this is a bit now from Jayhawk. The way he throws his jokes out there, and they'll land.
Soon to be dad Justin Hawkins is he's flexing.
I'm trying.
The dad jokes. Okay.
I love it, Hawk, with your 0-3 self.
Sure.
All right, so I'll go next because
in spite of it,
I will go next since I was 2-1 last week. I am going to the great state of California.
All right.
Why is Nebraska an underdog against UCLA? I don't understand this. I know. I don't care. It was a rhetorical question that I was about to give the answer to.
My bad.
I do not care that Dylan Raiola is out.
Yeah.
Nebraska should not be an underdog to UCLA. Wrong team favored in this situation. Plus 1.5. So I've gone 2-0 the last 2 weeks using Bill Connolly's S&P Plus and Bill Connolly's metrics at ESPN.com that take every game and give a projected score based on the analytics. Now, you know what I like to say? We'll tap the sign. Analytics are a secondary source, not a primary source.
No doubt.
Not the meat and potatoes, but it is the gravy. Here's the thing. I take the biggest difference between what Vegas says and what Bill says. And typically, when there is a 12-point difference versus what the analytics say and what Vegas is saying, I'm going to go with Bill because 12 points gives me a lot of margin for error for Vegas to still be more right than the numbers, but me still be able to profit off of it. The S&P Plus thinks that Nebraska should be favored by 2 touchdowns. And they are an underdog in this football game. UCLA, here's the thing. I don't care who plays quarterback for Nebraska. UCLA is 126th against the run in college football.
Ooh.
Meanwhile, Jerry Neuheisel, who, by the way, malpractice by media organizations around the country that when UCLA wins, Jerry Neuheisel gets put on the graphics and gets put on the pictures, and then when they lose, it's Tim Skipper. What are we doing that for? What are we doing that for? Tim Skipper is the interim coach. He should be the one getting the graphics of the ESPN picture or the On3 picture. Put Tim Skipper as the graphic, not Jerry Neuheisel. He's the coach. But then when he loses, Jerry Neuheisel's nowhere to be found. And it's Tim Skipper's face making a sad face at the camera. What are we doing? Yeah. Stop doing that. Anyway, separate conversation. Nebraska's second best against the pass defensively. I think their secondary will be up to the challenge. I think they will bounce back from losing their 80th straight game against ranked opponents. Obviously, I'm exaggerating and being sarcastic.
Right.
Nebraska plus 1.5 at UCLA is my first pick.
All right there. That pissed you off right there.
Yeah, like it's I'm saying the quiet part. Like I'm not saying the quiet part out loud, but like having, I don't know, just the graphic thing makes me mad.
Yeah.
Justin, go ahead. Before I start really rambling here.
I'm going to go with SMU at Boston College. SMU is a 10.5-point favorite. I'm going to keep this short because my voice does not want to keep going. Much like the Boston College defense, they do not want to keep going. They give up in the second half. Bill O'Brien has these press conference lash outs.
Oh, yeah.
And I know that
I want to play that next, actually, now that you're mentioning it. Okay. It's so good.
This Boston College team really has no identity. They're 1-8 on the season. SMU is 6-3. They're playing well lately. They're not very good against the spread. I think they're 1-4 against the spread this season against ACC opponents. But they have a good win against Miami last week in overtime. I think they're going to keep it going and have that good momentum. Also, Kevin Jennings is number 2 in passing in ACC. I like that.
He is electric. Kevin Jennings, not boring. Not always the best player, but he is never going to be a boring player. Boston College is 112th in college football in passing yards allowed this season, 253 yards per game. Kevin Jennings and the SMU passing offense, 24th in college football.
I think they average like 277.
Yes, 277 on the dot. You did your homework.
Bam.
Well done. Ramon, your second pick.
I got one I'm going to actually take. I took one off my list. You took my UCLA one, by the way. But
are you going to do the same one?
I was.
Okay.
But I always put more on here just in case. My next one.
You want to do the same pick as me? Why not?
No, because I don't want, if there's a split, that I don't want it to be the case, okay?
Okay. Well.
My next one is Colorado, West Virginia. It's bad in Boulder right now.
Very bad.
It's very bad in Boulder right now. It's 2, 3, and 6 teams. West Virginia's favored by 6.5 points on this one. And as bad as quarterback play has also been for Deion Sanders, as bad as play has just been in general, I'm not sure if he's going to be able to correct this version of the Colorado Buffaloes moving forward, but it just doesn't seem good for him. I almost feel like Deion Sanders is closer to retirement than it is coming back again for them next year.
Yep.
And I just look at their situation in the post game, and Deion didn't allow a single player to talk to the media as the milk's gone bad.
Very bad. Yeah.
I just think it's easy work to take West Virginia this weekend. It's 6.5. Just give me the 6.5. It's in West Virginia, Morgantown also, so give me that one.
Rich Rodriguez of the boys getting 6.5.
Yeah, man. As a 3-6 team, they're getting 6.5.
Yeah, Colorado is... Colorado misses when Deion Sanders still had Travis Hunter or... his most talented son on the team.
No, seriously.
All of a sudden, without those two guys, things look a lot different.
And you know what? For the Colorado fans, you can say, well, at least we got a Heisman winner. You do. Vols don't, but like that's
that guy's not walking through the door anymore.
No, he ain't walking through the door.
That might be a good recruiting pitch for Boo Carter and his family, but...
Yeah, there's Austin saying a lot. So he said it on our show. He said it more later.
Yeah.
About Boo Carter.
Maybe he can help him next year. Enjoy.
Well, if he keep fumbling punts,
best of luck to him. Indiana is going to Penn State, and until they burn me, Ramon, I'm just going to keep taking Indiana. Every year I have one pick in the Thursday 3 that is just an auto take for me. A couple of years ago, it was just Iowa unders and LSU overs. Like I just took the over at every LSU game pre-Blake Baker. In 2023 with Jayden Daniels at quarterback for the Tigers. It was just an auto take. This is just as confident. I feel as confident in this as I did in that. Indiana, very good at running the football. 6th best rushing offense of the country. Penn State 90th against the run. Just unbelievable. A Jim Knowles defense, a good roster, 90th against the run. At Penn State. Just can't happen. Indiana is 6-2 against the spread in its last 8 games. Penn State is 1-8 against the spread in its last 9 games. You've got to pay a premium to get Indiana right now, and I don't care. Give it to me. Indiana minus 14.5 at Penn State. Never thought I'd see the day. Never thought I'd see
light work right there.
Good for Buck Rising.
I know, man. No. No, it ain't. It's basketball season. He don't deal with the football. What are you talking about? The IU that he wears is for the Kappas and for the basketball team.
If he cared, it would be good for him.
Absolutely not.
Justin, your second pick.
I was going to go with that one, but I think I'm going to choose the Ramon route and switch, so that way we can all be different. I'm going to go tomorrow night was my backup. USC versus Northwestern. Northwestern is traveling all the way across the entire U.S. going to California. I'm going to take them. I think it's minus 14.5. I didn't quickly look it up. Yeah. USC is playing very well right now. If they want to keep any hopes of making the playoff alive, they've got to keep winning. And Northwestern just not very good. Especially, I don't like these Big Ten across the continental U.S. I don't like those matchups, and I think USC is going to take care of it.
Okay.
All right, then.
I like it.
I didn't do enough research on that one as I did the Indiana game, but oh well.
Ramon, your third pick.
Third pick, man, the primetime game, Alabama, LSU. Taking Alabama minus 10 on this one. I just don't think there'll be a coaching bump. I don't think there'll be anything that comes out of what LSU got to offer. Alabama's just good. Ty Simpson, I think, should still be the front runner for the Heisman at this point, too. Jam Miller and that run game, I think, is going to press LSU. And more than anything, 10 points, that's like works. They got higher goals than what LSU could ever offer them in primetime.
I don't know. That one I am not touching with a 100-foot pole.
That's why I did.
he says, scared money don't make money.
Scared money don't make no money. If I ever go broke, I'm going to take your money.
Okay. Thank you. It's kind of aggressive. I just kind of chilled on the back of my spine.
It's kind of how it goes.
I don't know. I think that LSU is still so talented on paper. Does a new staff get more out of that roster with a bye week? It doesn't matter if Garrett Nussmeier is still too hurt to throw the football as effectively as he can when he's at his best, but we'll see. I think that anything's on the table in that one, including an LSU win, I think is on the table.
Well,
I'm definitely not predicting it. I think Alabama wins the game, and they probably cover, but I don't like touching interim coach games in game one because you just have no idea how a team's motivated from a betting perspective.
I think their defense is just so sus.
Effect.
You think what?
Their defense is suspect. LSU.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It's just they're hot and cold.
I was supposed to
I
be
couldn't tell if you're making a pun or not. Every time Justin chimes in,
you got us so wrapped up, Hall. You got us wrapped up,
I was like, wait, Nussmeier, their defense is sus. I don't
They're
know.
nuss.
Yeah, exactly. There you go. I will take one interim coach pick, but it's not against the spread. Auburn comes to Vanderbilt. This is the Battle of Nashville. The two of the biggest fan bases in the city, Auburn people. I'm curious how many of them will still come to this game. You guys all live here.
A lot of them, I would expect.
You're spending a lot of money to watch a DJ Durkin coach team. When you bought those tickets, you probably expected to see a Hugh Freeze coach team.
That's true, too.
One thing, though, about Auburn is they are good defensively. And I like the under in this game. It is an NFL total. I don't care. Under 45.5 is what I am taking. It is an Auburn defense that ranks 9th in college football against the run this season. They are allowing 83.5 yards per game on the ground. I do not trust this Auburn offense at all against the Vandy defensive front. I think they have a bounce back performance after being unable to really consistently get to the quarterback against Arch Manning. But I do like the under 45.5, Auburn and Vandy. I think it's a defensive game that Vandy wins by a touchdown.
Cheapest ticket, $177.
Whew. Still a lot of money to see a bad Auburn team. Goodness. Justin, quickly, your final pick.
Bills minus 9.5 at the Dolphins on Sunday. Kickoff at 12. Bills won the first meeting by 10. Coming off the win against the Chiefs. They're 2-0 after the bye. Miami, you just don't know what they are. They had 3 turnovers the last 4 games, or 3 out of the last 4 games. Buffalo +4 turnover margin in their last several games. And I just think the Bills are just too good right now.
There you go.
Great pick, Hall.
That is the Thursday 3. Coming up, we got to hear this Bill O'Brien audio. The latest great press conference rant from the former head coach of the Houston Texans that you're going to have to hear next.
My dad and I used to golf together all the time, but when he hurt his back, it was over.
To have your son want to spend time with you is amazing. That's why my chronic back pain has been so heartbreaking. Surgery, fused bones, long recovery. No way, not for me. A friend recommended stem cells, so I gave Kellum Stem Cell Institute a call.
I'm glad you're out on the course.
Yeah, it's really good.
Call the Kellum Stem Cell Institute today.
Swing still looks just okay, though.
Simple. One-day treatment offers life-changing results. I've seen it with my own eyes. Guys, it's not magic, but it's close to it. They put hair where you need it the most, and bam, it grows. It's actually science, all right? Advanced Hair has it all. Top-rated doctors, modern technology, and best of all, you get your very own natural hair that begins regrowing the very next day. Advanced Hair guarantees it to grow for life. So schedule your free consultation now. You can call them at 629-348-HAIR. If you qualify, listen to me, you'll get $250 off and 250 free hair grafts. Advanced Hair has changed tens of thousands of lives, and they are the team I personally recommend. So don't wait. Check out the befores and afters online if you don't believe me. But you can also call them and set an appointment at 629-348-HAIR or visit the website at advancedhair.com.
There is a logical next step for the Tennessee Titans to take after a very specific comment from General Manager Mike Bergonzi yesterday. It's Ramona Will, fueled by Scooter's Coffee at 104.5 The Zone. You'll hear that comment in 10 minutes. We're going to tell you what one thing Mike Bergonzi says means in the immediate future, something they are going to have to do this offseason, in my opinion. We'll do that coming up at 8 o'clock. 615-737-1045 is our number. This show is pro press conference rant. I love it when coaches just go off. I'm being kind of sarcastic because sometimes it is needed, sometimes it's not. As our good friend Doug Matthews likes to say, Coach Doug Matthews, when coaches talk in the media, they are talking to their team. They're not really talking to the media. Every now and then they will, or every now and then they'll talk to their boosters or their university presidents, things like that. Typically, they're just talking to their players through a press conference. Well, Bill O'Brien is clearly trying to send a message to a very bad Boston College team. This was the latest college football head coach press conference rant this week.
Wondering, do you have a message for the fans? Obviously losing to Notre Dame Catholic school rival, 1-8 now in the season of BC. I've heard from a lot of fans. They're just really
I'm really glad. You know, I'm glad you're down. I'm not down. Nobody's down. We're fighting. We're competing. You know, it's the second year of this program, Mike. You always come in here with these down questions. Like you show up like once a month or something like that. You come in here with these down questions. I'm not down. I don't know what year you graduated from BC, but this is a program that we're building. Okay. Nobody here's down. We're positive. We're going to show up and play our asses off against SMU. You can go out there in your dark, clouded world or whatever it is and do what you want to do. We're not down. The sun is up and we're fighting. That's my message to the fans. What's up, Trevor?
Hell yeah!
Not Trevor getting the backlash.
Talk to me, Trevor.
Go ahead, Trevor.
Screw him. Talk to me, Trevor.
Trevor? We're just going to end rants now on the show. Like after we're done. Hey, what's up, Trevor?
What's up, Trevor?
No, that's a little too inside. People wouldn't get it, but
hey, dog. That sounds like he got fussed out by somebody else, and whoever asked that question just got the brunt end of it. What in the world, Bill?
So the one win that Boston College has this season was against Fordham. Known college football power, Fordham. They won that game 66-10. This is what Bill O'Brien's Boston College Golden Eagles have had to have since then. 42-40 loss at Michigan State, 30-20 loss at Stanford, which is coached by Frank Reich. That is a former Indianapolis Colts versus former Houston Texans head coach matchup. How about that?
I'm here for that.
AFC South rivalry renewed between Stanford and Boston College, a classic ACC rivalry. Another classic ACC rivalry. They lose 28-24 to Cal. They get blitzed by Pittsburgh, 48-7. In a game they were only a 7-point underdog in. They lose to Clemson, 41-10. They lose to Connecticut. In the year of our Lord 2025, Boston College lost to Connecticut, 38-23. A respectable 38-24 loss at Louisville, and then they cover the spread. Good teams win, great teams cover against Notre Dame, 25-10. Boston College Golden Eagles under head coach Bill O'Brien. I got to raise my hand. Sometimes we take victory laps for good takes. We did that on Hugh Freeze. This show never was on the Hugh Freeze bandwagon. I never understood why Tennessee fans glorified him. I wanted Bill O'Brien when Tennessee hired Josh Heupel. Yeah, that would have crashed and burned so badly. I was so wrong on Bill O'Brien. I thought he was still a pretty decent college coach. Now, Boston College, not an easy place to win in college football in 2025 when you don't have Matt Ryan at quarterback, but woof, 1-8. I thought Bill was still pretty good at this based on the sample size he had at Penn State.
His quarterback also left and went to Florida State too, correct?
Tommy Castellanos. He left mid-season last year.
Yeah.
Once they were kind of out of it in the ACC.
I don't know I know this. Boston College got a lot of rich history when it comes down to the players they put in the league. Like, they're not like a rollover type of school, but it seems like they're stuck in the middle of football, just purgatory with what they are. Like, what is their portal like? What is their NIL? What is their support like? I don't know what it is. All I've ever known Boston College guys were to be very gritty, very smart, and just tough when it comes down to them going to the next level.
I mean, they had Steve Addazio from 2013 through 2019, and they were just cranking out 7-5 seasons. Like, I feel like Boston College has lost in the Pinstripe Bowl every year. Like every year, the Pinstripe Bowl's on. It's 1 p.m. on a Wednesday in the middle of December, and it's Boston College playing some bottom of the barrel Big Ten team. I mean, literally looking at their history, they have lost in the Pinstripe Bowl 3 times in the last 15 years. I'm not even wrong. They lost the Pinstripe Bowl last year, actually. There you go. They lost the Pinstripe Bowl in 2017 and in 2014.
I do the
Listen,
Pinstripe Bowl.
If you're driving around Nashville this morning and you expected to hear Pinstripe Bowl conversation, you're lying. Yeah. But congratulations on hearing that this morning.
Welcome to our show.
Anyway.
Shout out to Bill O'Brien. I enjoy that from him.
Well, Jeff Hafley was their head coach, and he is now the defensive coordinator of the Packers and left a sitting head coaching job in P4 to go be an NFL DC. That's the way college football is in the year 2025. That's how it works. Anyway, thank you, Bill O'Brien, for the content this morning.
What's up, Trevor?
Yeah, what's up, Trevor? Appreciate that. 615-737-1045. There is one key next step the Tennessee Titans are going to have to take based off of something GM Mike Bergonzi said yesterday. You'll hear that and what the next step is coming up next. What's up? It's Will Bowling. You know about my new obsession, Daisy French onion dip, because this time of year, football season is snacking season. Watch parties, tailgates, you name it, you got to have the Daisy French onion dip and Daisy Ranch dip there. You bring it to the watch party and people are going to think that you just brought a homemade dip. It tastes homemade. It's delicious with real herbs and spices plus other ingredients that you just find in your own kitchen. So make sure you try some. Next time you head by the grocery store, stock it up for the weekend. Make sure you grab some Daisy French onion dip and Daisy Ranch dip, and they're available at grocery stores near you.
801, good morning, live from the 104.5 The Zone Studios. I'm Justin Hawkins. The Titans were awarded safety Jarek Reed off waivers from the Seattle Seahawks yesterday. Reed was waived by Seattle on Tuesday as he was promoted to the active roster from the practice squad. Reed was a 6th-round pick back in 2023 and has played in 19 games through 3 NFL seasons. In other NFL news, Cardinals are placing quarterback Kyler Murray on injured reserve due to his foot injury that he suffered against the Titans, meaning he will now miss a minimum of 4 games. Texans head coach DeMeco Ryans said quarterback C.J. Stroud will be out this week versus the Jacksonville Jaguars as he remains in concussion protocol. Texans backup quarterback Davis Mills will get the start. And newly acquired Colts cornerback Sauce Gardner, who's been out since week 7 with a concussion, was a full participant in practice yesterday. Head coach Shane Steichen said Gardner would play this week if he clears concussion protocol. Week 10 of the NFL season kicks off tonight as the 7-2 Broncos host the 2-6 Raiders in Denver with kickoff at 7:15 on Prime Video, or you can hear Westwood One's coverage on The Zone starting at 7 o'clock. And to the ice where the Nashville Predators are back tonight in Philadelphia taking on the Flyers with puck drop at 6 o'clock. For all your foundation repair and waterproofing needs, you got to go to USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
Second half of the show, hour number 3, getting started on your Thursday morning, Ramon and Will. We are fueled by Scooter's Coffee. Coming up in 15 minutes, voice of the Vols, Mike Keith, works us into his very busy schedule. Mike, of course, on the call for Tennessee football, Tennessee men's basketball, hosting the Mike Keith Show, which is this afternoon. I don't know how play-by-play voices function and get sleep this time of year, Ramon.
Me either.
I truly do not know. When you are mixing football and basketball, not even just play-by-play voices, there are a lot of production people, social media people, media relations. Like this month, just say a prayer for your local resident college athletics person. If you're working football and basketball at the same time, you are not getting much sleep right now.
And then on top of that, you mix day-to-day living and holiday season and all of that also. Whew. I mean, that's a shout out to him. Like I said, and Mike's a pro's pro when it comes down to that too. Jeez, my throat.
It's affecting you.
It's affecting me. It's making me choke up a little bit. I'm so sympathetic. No,
that's right.
I just need a good old sip of Scooters. That's all.
So Mike Borgonzi spoke to the media yesterday, and I think said a lot. I think said more than certainly what we expected when we talked about it at the end of the show yesterday. And the GM doesn't have to answer to media. It is not always the case that the general manager talks in season. Mike Borgonzi did. Not only did he talk, I think he gave us a lot of answers and gave us a lot of clarity on a number of things. I thought it was as positive, as good, as hopeful of a press conference as the Tennessee Titans have had in a little while. I think he may have given us a hint of something that's going to happen this offseason. When asked about Jeffrey Simmons and why he wasn't traded, Titans GM Mike Borgonzi said this.
I want to highlight Jeff Simmons. Jeff has been tremendous. Jeff was a player that came in this league and they were winning, and he's gone through some losing seasons here right now. And I communicate with Jeff a lot, and Jeff is a big part of why we're going to turn this thing around here. He is. He's one of the better players in the league, and his leadership with these young guys has been tremendous.
Did you talk to Dallas about Jeff, considering what Dallas gave up for Williams?
I'm not going to get into who we talked. We talked to 31 other teams for the past 3 weeks. So I will not get into any particulars of any moves that we did not make. But I will say with Jeff, just because you asked about Jeff, and I'm not going to talk about any other players here, Jeff is invaluable to us right now, to where we want to go.
When you say building for the future, though, as you did with Draymond, does that not enter into the picture with Jeff as well as your most valuable asset, that could be traded?
Well, you have to weigh those options, and you say it's a business, but like when you weigh those options, you look at it and you say, what do we have here? And he's a pillar here in this organization. for what you want. And he's one of the best players in the league at his position. And the way he works every day at practice, I don't know if I've seen a defensive lineman superstar like him, just empty the tank every day at practice. It's impressive. And when your best player does that and younger guys look to him, that's what you want. That's what I'm talking about being a standard.
Titans GM Mike Borgonzi speaking yesterday. How quickly, Ramon, do you think Jeffrey Simmons' agent called Mike and said, hey, you want to re-sign that pillar to a contract extension?
No, straight up. Yesterday, as soon as the press conference is done, I'm sure whoever his agent is it Tom Condon? I'm not sure who it is.
I'll check Spot Track to see if it's updated because he did change this offseason.
Yeah, my point is, you said all of that. Now show me. Show me also in how you build around me, too. I say this out of respect to the guy because I think he's a walking gold jacket. But Myles Garrett, nobody wants to be Myles Garrett, man. Now, Myles Garrett going to end up being 34, and he may still be in his prime, 34, 35 years old, and then finally get shipped off to somewhere to where he's going to play a role and hopefully get a ring and play meaningful football.
Todd France of Athletes First, Jeffrey Simmons' new agent.
That's big time.
Go ahead.
Athletes First. They got an entertainment section and everything, too. But my point of it is, show me in my pocketbook, for the old school people pocketbook. Also show me in how you surround me with players that's going to keep me and my career relevant, too. Because answer me this if you have an opinion on it.
Okay.
If Chimere DK was on the Kansas City Chiefs, Dallas Cowboys, Buffalo Bills, the Pro Bowl nod for him would be automatic. Would you think?
I think it still is going to be if he continues to stay healthy.
About him, though.
I mean, nationally, sure. Yeah, you've got to do more in a smaller market team to be talked about.
Yeah.
And especially on a team that's 1-8. You've got to do more to stand out because you're not going to get the normal eyeballs of national TV windows and that level of respect when you play on a team that's 1-8.
No doubt about it. And that's my point, though, too. It's twofold for Jeff. Yes, it is. Go ahead and give me $30+ million, Jeff. If you was thinking about getting hours for a private jet, you can go ahead and start planning on that right now, okay? If you want another Rolls Royce, you can go ahead and start planning on that because Mike Borgonzi's kind of pledged his allegiance to what you are and what you mean to this organization at a tender age of 28 years old. Yeah. It will happen. Hopefully it comes before Christmas because everybody loves it before the New Year's payday too. So it's just when your career is concerned in these type of situations, you do want to see your supporting cast be a part of your good fortune too. That's my only point in it. And I think Borgonzi in how he went about speaking on Jeff is going to make that part of his plan, and hopefully it's expeditiously too.
Do you think it's the right time for the Titans to do that deal? We know for Jeff, from that perspective, we looked at it from his side. Do you think it makes sense for the Titans to give Jeffrey Simmons an extension, considering he's got $20 million base salary set for 2027 and is set to become a free agent in 28?
Yes, because I felt like he wanted it last year when Milton Williams got his deal. And you mean to tell me Milton Williams is a better player than Jeffrey Simmons and deserves to make more money? Right? Like, it's that side of it, too. Like, these players, I don't want to say they pocket watch, but they understand salaries when it comes down to it.
They have, awareness of what's going on.
They got awareness of it.
Sure. And
maybe somebody had a conversation with Big Jeff where he felt like that was disrespected. That he didn't get that. But yeah, right now, Milton Williams got an average salary of $26 million.
If that is the case and Jeff felt disrespected, he's handled it as well as you possibly could. Some guys, when they feel disrespected like that, may check out or may want out. Jeff has gone the other way and leaned in and become the very best version of himself.
And kind of trying to prove to you, this is why I wanted what I wanted.
This is my value.
Yeah,
right.
This is why I wanted what I wanted. So he's the ultimate pro, though, when it comes down to that stuff. The way you know this, though, is the agent change. Sure. Anytime a player makes an agent change, money's on the line.
Yeah, I think that Jeffrey Simmons and T'Vondre Sweat's ability to play together finally after the bye week and moving forward through the rest of the season is critical for both players.
Yeah.
For Jeff's ability to prove that when he has some help, he can be maybe the best defensive tackle in football relative to what Chris Jones has been, relative to Quinnen Williams and Leonard Williams, the other players that are at the forefront of that conversation. Like, Jeff is putting himself at the very top of a very crowded group of good defensive tackles this year With Tavondre Sweat, I think it could be even better. I also think it's a really important final stretch for Tavondre. Because, again, like we mentioned, just because the Titans didn't trade off some of these pieces now doesn't mean that conversation isn't going to come back around in the pre-draft process. When the Titans are once again looking for draft capital and looking to get, 12 picks in the top 100 over 3 years from what Chad Brinker says that he wants when he took that job as president of football operations. There are a lot of different ways to accumulate their draft capital. If the Titans decide, hey, we don't want to trade back. We want to stick in the top 5 or top 1, depending where they are.
Yeah.
Because we want an elite playmaker. We want Reuben Bain Jr. We want Arvell Reese, who is going to be a really fun guy to scout, by the way. Just an absolute freak at inside linebacker. Like, if they want the elite playmaker to say, no, that's worth it to us. All right, well, then do you accumulate that draft capital some other way? Like, there's still a lot to prove, I think, over the final 8 games of this season for a number of players in this team. And I think that defense, you are trying out to be a part of the 2026 Titans and beyond.
It is.
We can't just totally check out. I know fans will feel some way, and fans will get tired of this and become apathetic, and I can't blame any of you for needing that trust and interest to be won back. But I think for us, Ramon, and for the players on that team, open tryouts.
It is.
We're splitting the pool cue on the pool table, and like the Joker in The Dark Knight.
But
we're going to have tryouts.
No doubt about it. But what you know is everybody in right now has got to be committed to the cause. Because you're going to have bad tape out there and end up being a late signing next free agency cycle, too, if you don't kind of close this out. Like, that's why I say, like, it's Borgonzi and Chad them are in a good spot because on losing teams like this, your tape is what follows you in these types of moments. And as far as coaches, Denard Wilson, Bo Hardiger being able to call it the way you want them to, that matters. The players and also the tape that they got to put out there, I'm not sure if Zeitler wants another year, but it matters. You know, like these type of situations right here, now that the trade deadline is done, you got to start checking boxes personally as a teammate. And quite honest, Will, a lot of guys will probably just get selfish in how they go about that too.
Coming up, voice of the Vols, Mike Keith joins us. What is most important for Tennessee to improve upon in the bye week as they head into the month of November? And what is it like calling football and men's basketball simultaneously in the month of November? Mike Keith joins us next.
Hey dads, want an epic night with your kids? Head to Nissan Stadium for the Nashville All-Pro Dad Experience. On November 7th from 6 to 8:30 p.m., you'll make memories with your family as you run on the field and enjoy bonding activities. Expect fun, laughs, and fatherhood tips from Tennessee Titans long snapper Morgan Cox to help you be a better dad. All for less than a trip through the drive-thru. Just $35 gets you an unforgettable time with your kids. Register today at allprodad.com/events. The Nashville All-Pro Dad Experience is brought to you by Amazon, Arby's Foundation, Coca-Cola Consolidated, Colgate.
Ramona Will is fueled by Scooter's Coffee on 104.5 The Zone, locally owned in Rivergate, Smyrna, Brentwood, White House, or Mount Juliet. As your Thursday morning continues in Hour 3. 11-year NFL veteran Ramon Foster, myself, Will Bowling, joined as we are this time every Thursday by our good friend Mike Keith, the voice of the Vols, presented by the South's most trusted Ford dealer, Two Rivers Ford, and Volunteer Traditions. Mike, good morning. How are you?
Good morning, Will. How are you?
Good. I'm curious how play-by-play broadcasters and college sports people function in the month of November. Mike, what has this first week been like, and really first 2 weeks, going back to the exhibition against Duke, managing the prep, managing the logistics? I'm just fascinated by all of this, of a football game on Saturday, a basketball game on Monday, and maybe a bye week that comes at a good time for you this weekend.
I mean, it's work from the standpoint that you've got to be prepared, but it's fun. I mean, that's the whole thing. Is I've just been excited to have the opportunity. Getting to call basketball is a lot of fun, and getting to be in that atmosphere and be around more of our athletes. The continuation of football season is great. I never get tired of football. There's never been a point in my life where I've finished the Super Bowl as a spectator, whatever, and thought, man, I sure am glad football's gone.
Amen.
Boy, that football, ooh-wee, I don't want any more of that. So, I mean, it's awesome. People have a lot harder jobs than me, so I will never complain.
I love it. Love it. Mike, as Tennessee hits this bye week and heads into still a very important 3-game stretch coming up in the month of November, where do you think this staff is taking stock of where they are at this point in bye week number 2, coming out of a loss over the weekend to Oklahoma? Where do you think this staff wants to see more growth down the stretch from this young football team?
Well, I mean, that's a hard question to answer based on the fact that I think they want to win their last 3 games. I think that's what it comes down to, is they want to figure out a way to win these last 3 games, because you're not out of the playoff chase until they say you're out of the playoff chase. And so, I mean, you're not done. I mean, there were some 3-loss teams that nearly got in last year. So you don't want to give up the ghost. Now, does it look unlikely? Yes, very much so. I get it. So the main thing is, how do you win these last 3 games, which will be, New Mexico State is certainly not a great team, but you have to take them seriously. Florida at the Swamp is a big deal for Tennessee. Tennessee doesn't win in the Swamp. They haven't. Right. So no matter what Florida's got, you've got to go down there and find a way to win. And then, Vanderbilt is having a great year. So you understand that they're going to have a lot to play for when they get here. If you go 9-3, you give yourself whatever shots you've got left in the playoff. You give yourself that full shot. And if that doesn't work out, then you certainly have given yourself your best option for whatever bowl is there. And that always makes people happier. I mean, if you're going to go to a better bowl, that's good for everybody involved with the program. And then on top of that, you've got a chance to say you've won double-digit games in 3 of the last 4 years. So, those are the things you're really concentrating on. And so I think what it comes down to is they just want to see these guys improve and quit killing themselves with mental mistakes. To me, that's what it comes down to, is making sure, and some of them are physical, obviously, but like Aguilar throwing picks in the Oklahoma game, that's playing ball, man. I mean, he didn't make good choices in either case, but that's playing ball. Blocking the wrong person on a pass rush and having the quarterback get hit and it be a strip sack that's returned for a touchdown, that's a mental mistake from a young player who missed a month. And so you want David Sanders to continue to get better because he is immensely talented. But what also happens there is if he plays better, you have a better chance to win these games. And I just use that as one example because that's where Tennessee has been all year. is these things have caused them problems all season long. And if they could eliminate more of those mistakes down the stretch, I think they check off a lot of boxes, which give yourself the best chance to win, see young players learn and improve, and take that growth towards next year for the ones who are going to return. But, again, I think it's all about right now. I don't mean to go with coach speak, but I think that's where they are at this moment.
That's fascinating. We're joined by Mike Keefe, the voice of the Vols, and just an all-around great individual, okay?
Thank you, Ramon. That's so kind.
You mentioned something about football, man, that made me think a little bit like soon as the season over with, we want more and we're searching for everything that's involved in it. And the world of college football specifically, does it, as a consumer of it, a lover of it yourself, does it just kind of take you back a little bit when people kind of check out in these scenarios if you don't make the college football playoffs? We were having a social media conversation about what's good enough, 9 to 11 wins, 10 wins, expectations, and stuff like that when it comes down to coaches, when it comes down to teams. Mike, has it changed your viewpoint of how the consumer views college football because of the NIL and because of the portal stuff?
Sure. Yeah, I think it does from the standpoint that college football is now a tournament sport. And so losing one game doesn't cost you anything. It used to be that if Tennessee lost to Florida in week 3, to a certain extent, their season was over. Because then Florida would have to lose twice or else Tennessee couldn't go to the SEC championship game. And, these were the steps that you took. Now, when Tennessee lost to Georgia in week 3, it was disappointing, but it wasn't the end of the season. But it also meant that the game against Oklahoma, to a certain extent, it was called a playoff elimination game. Mm-hmm. And maybe it was, maybe it wasn't, but it did have that feel. And so that adds to it. Now, the funny thing about Oklahoma's situation is with their remaining schedule, it's possible, not likely, but possible, they may not win again. And it's also possible Tennessee may not lose again. So even though Oklahoma beat Tennessee, Tennessee may end up standing a better chance of making the college football playoff. But yet in that moment last Saturday, we were singularly focused on that one game. That's fun. That's good stuff. And so you've got all of this that goes on with it now. But you also understand, I think listen, everybody in this building, I'm in the football complex right now. Everybody in this building, I just walked in, and they're working here. Right. I see people working right now hard. What I can tell you about this is Josh Heupel wants to go to the playoff every year. Everybody on his coaching staff wants to go to the playoff every year. Danny White wants to go to the playoff every year. Everybody on his staff wants to go to the playoff every year. That's the expectation at Tennessee. Tennessee wants to be one of those schools in the mix, but also there's a realism that that's not going to happen, because who you're playing against, well, guess what? LSU wants to go to the playoff every year. Georgia does, and Florida does, and Alabama does, and, on and on and on. Texas A&M and Texas. That's who you compete with on a weekly basis in this conference. Where you have to put yourself is you've got to be somewhere in the mix every year. And then in certain cases, you're going to have special teams with special people, and Clint Sterner's going to stumble and fumble, and Travis Stevens and Travis Henry are going to be there when Jamal Lewis gets hurt. And, oh, by the way, 17 guys are going to step up on defense that you didn't expect to. And Al Wilson's going to become one of the greatest leaders in program history. And, that's where it comes. But you can't do that if you're not in the mix. And sometimes being in the mix is better than others. But, where Tennessee is right now, they are certainly in this mix. And are there things, just like to Will's original question, are there things that they have to improve upon? Absolutely. It's not been Tennessee's year from the standpoint of luck. Their best defensive player hasn't played all year. They've had a couple things go against them in games. They've had a couple of mistakes that have beaten them. They literally were a kick away from beating Georgia. And so how does the season change then? Is that an indictment on your overall program? If he makes that kick, is your program any better than it is right now or any worse? I mean, that's the difficult part. Here's where Tennessee is right now. Tennessee is where Philip Fulmer was in the mid-'90s. And that is they're figuring out that going from good to very good in that range to great to elite, that next step is really, really hard. But I sure rather would be very good to, good to very good than be trying to come from where they were 5 years ago.
No doubt about it. As you kind of took my thunder, Mike, that's where I was going to go next.
Sorry, Ramon.
No, it's all good. We kind of built this thing up now. It is what it is. My flyover's doing really good again, too.
It is going well.
It's so good. It's the highlight of every week now, I'm going to be honest with you.
It is.
It has been.
That's been a conversation this week is I had a post that said, we act as if there's 2 national champions each year. There's only one. And right. I bring it up because you brought up the Coach Fulmer aspect of it, though, is how healthy of a university, of a team, do you think this program is right now? Because sometimes, Mike, you just got to wait on your turn to kick the door in. And Tennessee knocked last year, had an opportunity this year, and just 3 losses kind of makes that, going up to the doorstep a little bit harder. Sure. But how do you view the idea of, okay, well, Penn State thought they had it all, LSU did too, and now they're both fired their coaches? Like, you don't want to be firing coaches or underselling your expectations, but the goal is to continually be knocking at that door, and that's what finally got Coach Fulmer, Saban, and everybody else over the hump.
Yeah, I mean, that's you're constantly refining and tweaking. And I'll give you a great example. Bill Battle went 39-9 in his first 48 games at Tennessee. In 1973, he lost the homecoming game to Georgia because he faked a punt late in the game and it failed. And Georgia, who had not thrown a pass the entire day, went in and scored a touchdown to beat Tennessee 35-31. From that point on in his tenure, Bill Battle went 20-13-2. His program went downhill every year. Philip Fulmer lost to Memphis in a game. It wasn't like the Memphis teams now. They were a bad team, and a really good Tennessee team lost to them in Memphis. At the point at which he lost that game, Philip Fulmer was 39-9 at that moment.
Wow.
And when that was 1996. Mm-hmm. And when they came back here, and it was the same moment, it was the exact same moment. And from there, Philip Fulmer went 28-2. So at tough moments, whether you're losing big upsets or you lose disappointing games or whatever, there are those tweaks, there are those looks in the mirror. What do we have to do? You don't throw the baby out with the bathwater, but maybe you change the baby's shampoo,
Yeah.
And maybe you use different soap.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe there's a different way to dry them off. I don't know. But what Philip Fulmer did is he looked in the mirror and he said, okay, that shouldn't have happened.
Yeah.
And it shouldn't have. I mean, it was really bad. I was standing in the locker room interviewing him and players afterwards, and when people say, oh, I'm sorry, what you're having to deal with the Titans or with this after a loss, I'm like, you ain't seen nothing. That was low. That was really bad. Mm-hmm. And they came back from that. They said, you know what? Here's what's going to happen. And the strength and conditioning program was tweaked a little bit. And, he tweaked some philosophical things about what they wanted to be. And, oh, by the way, the next year, they went to the Orange Bowl, and Nebraska ran over them. I mean, absolutely ran over them. And so, you know what they said? And that was 11-2. That was a good year, 11-2. And they went back and they said, okay, we got to do more of this. And then the next year they won the national championship. So all of these things, I think history is a great teacher, and no, regardless of era, what it shows us is you've constantly got to be tweaking the product, because this next step to go to where Georgia is right now. How's Georgia winning these games right now? They don't think they're going to lose.
Mm-hmm.
They don't believe it.
Yeah.
They're not much better than anybody else, if any better at all right now in this tough conference. But Georgia does not believe they are going to lose. And so they're not, unless they're playing Alabama, who they can't seem to beat. But everybody else, they've got the whammy on right now. That's where Tennessee got in the late 90s and early 2000s, you know. But to get to that point, it took a minute, even for Fulmer.
It's very fair. It's very well put, Mike. And from
it's a long answer.
No, it's a good one. And I'm curious, Mike, specifically for this football team and just maybe for the philosophical shift that Josh Heupel made this offseason, saying, let's put young guys that we trust, who we've scouted since they were sophomores in high school. Let's trust them to build this program long term. And maybe we'll put some guys in and you'll have missed blocking assignments. But you know what? These freshmen are going to be better sophomores and juniors, and hopefully at Tennessee, because of the lessons they learned, both good and bad, in 2025 as freshmen. Mike, from your perspective, spending time around this football team and getting to know some of these younger players and getting to watch from up close some of the unproven coming into 25 players who are now a little more proven, Mike, what is just the personality of this football team like, and what do you feel like you've learned about the future of Tennessee football by watching the present and a lot of guys who are going to be a big part of the future play and kind of learn on the job this year?
Well, so let me ask you guys a question before I answer that.
Sure.
If Joey Aguilar is Tennessee's quarterback last year, are the Vols better?
I say yes.
I think so, too.
I think so, too.
Yeah.
Because you put a veteran quarterback on that team, and it makes a difference. You certainly, I think, win at least one more. You don't lose to Arkansas, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And so then you're probably playing for the SEC championship. Win or lose, you're going to get a home game in the playoff, right? And so and if you get Penn State's draw last year in the playoff, you might go to the semis.
Right.
Well, Nico was a young quarterback on a veteran team, on a much more veteran team. You expected him as a veteran quarterback to have an impact on this young team. It was always going to have to be young because you lost so much age. This was going to be a young ball club. And it's great that Joey Aguilar was here to help them do a lot of what they certainly have a chance to win their last 3 games. They certainly have that opportunity. And for this team to be so young, if they go 9-3, and they've played 48 freshmen, 27 true freshmen, then they have an opportunity to kind of build it forward. And I think that's what's exciting about watching a lot of these guys is they have become really high-functioning players at a variety of spots already. And you see Aguilar has had a great effect on the stabilization of this team to where for the long term of Tennessee, it may have been better that you had Aguilar this year because he's put them in positions to win,
right,
virtually every single week and given them a chance to really play at a level where the most important thing, Will, to me, is this group of guys needed to play in games that mattered. They need to play in situations that mattered. They didn't need to be playing all in blowouts and, last minute mop up of a big loss or whatever. They needed to play in the Alabama game. They needed to play against Georgia. They needed to play, in this Oklahoma and this time down the stretch. And they're going to. So I think that's what's really nice about this year is losing all they lost from last year. You thought this was going to be a bit of an adjustment year anyway. And because you've had, because you've had solid quarterbacking and a really, really mature guy running the ball club, a real leader and some other real leaders on the ball club, I think it's helped a lot.
Voice of the Vols, Mike Keith, excellent as always here with
Most
us
definitely.
on the show. Tennessee on the hardwood, on the grass, keeping the Vol Network very, very busy. Mike Keith show still today, Mike, in the bye week?
Today, yes, I would like for as many Vol fans as possible listening to subscribe to the Tennessee Athletics YouTube channel. It helps my family. And I just like to say that, and I think about family first. So please subscribe. I actually have Leanne Morgan on the show today.
Oh, nice. Awesome.
Time.
Tony Vitello's favorite.
Yeah.
A lot of people's favorite.
She is unbelievable. She's got the #1 show on Netflix right now with her new comedy special that came out 2 days ago, Unspeakable Things. And they've already renewed her TV series. And I mean, she's big deal now.
Nice.
And she loves the Vols. She was in school while I was in school, actually.
Nice. Awesome.
We didn't know each other, but she's a Middle Tennessean. Did you know that?
I did not know that. Nice.
Joe Burns, Red Devil.
All right.
Joe
Adams,
Burns?
Tennessee. Joe Burns, Red Devil.
What?
She's from Adams, Tennessee. She'd tell you every story about the Bell Witch.
See, now we got to get around
That's a
that,
fun rabbit
right?
hole.
Yeah,
Yes,
exactly.
absolutely. I love it. All right. We'll be tuned in.
Good luck with that, by the way. I can't tell you how long it took me.
Nice. All right. Well, we'll be tuned in. Subscribe to the Tennessee Athletics YouTube channel. Help Mike's family today. Mike Keith's show, even in a bye week.
Mike Keith, 2028, baby.
That's
2 o'clock. 2 o'clock today. Thank you.
Thank you, Mike.
Thanks,
Appreciate
Mike.
the time as always.
Bye.
All right. Mike Keith with us.
My God. That's big time right there.
Coming up, new NFL week begins tonight. Are the Broncos a legit contender in the AFC? In action tonight, we'll talk about that. Preview the game for you coming up next. Hey, is your home's heating system ready for the cold weather of winter? Available 24/7. Lead Company is here to help if maybe you got the bad answer on that question this week. What's up? It's Will Bowling. With the turn of the season officially here, Lead Company's professional team of technicians are now performing heating tune-ups and seasonal maintenance to keep your home running efficiently this fall and winter. It's been so cold overnight here in Middle Tennessee this week. The good news is Mother Nature has given you a couple of days here. Over the last couple of days, things maybe not as frigid. You get a little bit of time, a little bit of relief to make sure that your heating system is ready for the real blast of cool air that is coming our way. Just contact Lead Company online at leadcompany.com. They're going to make things so easy for you. They're open 24/7 that when something goes wrong, you hit them up and they're going to be there ready to help you out. Award-winning service from Lead Company is online at leadcompany.com to keep your home cozy for the cold months ahead. That's leadcompany.com for all your heating needs. Lead Company, all you need. Wrapping up hour 3 on Ramon and Will, fueled by Scooter's Coffee. Coming up, Titans made a roster move yesterday that we'll tell you about. Plus, Mike Borgonzi breaking down Cam Ward. Voice of the Titans, Taylor Zarzer, set to join us in a half hour. 615-737-1045, the phone number in the meantime. Tonight, the Denver Broncos host the Las Vegas Raiders as Week 10 in the NFL begins in Denver. Raiders are 2-6. They've lost 2 in a row. They are 1-3 on the road this season. Denver at 7-2 leads the AFC West by 1 game over the LA Chargers. Denver 4-0 at home this season. No more Jacoby Myers for Vegas. Maybe that means Dante Thornton won't be a healthy scratch. Ugh, not great. This weekend, Denver's defense 2nd in pass efficiency, 4th in run efficiency in terms of yards per play. Do you consider Denver a legitimate contender in the AFC, Ramon?
Yes, I do. Absolutely consider them a contender. But it's a matter of what I think can hurt them the most, though, and it's Bo Nix. Bo Nix makes plays, but Bo Nix will also throw the ball in a spot where it's not supposed to, and it'll just fall to the ground, to his point, to his credit.
Mm-hmm.
He has more wizardry on his side than almost any other young quarterback I've seen here. His bad plays will turn good quickly, but his bad plays never become terrible, if that makes sense to you. And that defense is as good as it gets also, but they're also having a little bit of the injury bug that's kind of getting them a little bit too.
Yeah, I agree. So, what?
Dallas.
Yeah, we're going to get to this in a minute.
Bro, what
I know.
in the world?
So
but
interesting.
Yeah, they are contenders to me. I'll say this. They're in games and being very competitive. Do I think they are a Super Bowl outfit? No. But are they competitors? Yes. I think both of those can be true.
So they have won, the Denver Broncos have won 6 games in a row. I know PFF put out there a few weeks ago that Bo Nix, when they had won 4 games in a row, was the 8th highest graded quarterback, had 1,100 total yards, 78% adjusted completion rate, and the lowest turnover-worthy play rate in the NFL. So a lot of the analytics say that he's really not putting the ball in harm's way that much.
It just seems that way.
Okay.
You know, like you watch him play, and I guess it's just erratic as heck. Like he'll have 1 or 2 plays a game, and then time I've turned on their tape, and it's just like, why did you think to do that?
I think Denver is such a high floor team, but I'm not sure how high their ceiling really is either. Like the worst that Denver is going to be in any given Sunday is dictated by their line play on both sides of the ball. When you're that good in the trenches, you're just not going to have as many disaster plays.
That's true, too.
And on defense, you're going to force a lot of disaster plays. Bo Nix has been sacked 9 times this year.
That's it?
9 times.
I actually thought the way the Titans got after him in week 1 that they were going to be very problematic.
They're a much different outfit offensively than they were when we saw them in week 1.
You know,
much different.
That's the thing, though, too. Like looking at the week 1 version of the Titans versus the Broncos, like why and how did those changes happen for them? Because I thought Bo Nix was going to end up being the second-year slump. Offensive line was going to be trash.
Agreed.
Defense wasn't going to get it together. And lo and behold, they found the switch, whatever that was.
And honestly, to your point, I mean, the Broncos turned it over 4 times against the Titans in week 1. They have turned it over 5 times the rest of the season since then.
You see what I'm saying? Like, that's kind of fascinating.
The next 8 games.
Is that messaging from Sean Payton? You know?
Well, I think it's just a team that got out of the gate slowly. They barely beat the Titans. Then they have the 15-yard penalty that gives the Colts a second try at a field goal to beat them in week 2. And then they lose to the LA Chargers by a field goal on the road. They've won every game ever since. Cincinnati, at Philly, at New York, the other New York, Dallas, and at Houston. Yeah. So, big game between them and the Chiefs coming up in 2 weeks. That is for sure. They've got a late bye in week 12. They still got to go to Washington, to Vegas, Green Bay, Jacksonville, at Kansas City, and LA. So they've not played Kansas City yet. That's going to be the ultimate, I think, measuring stick on how much of a contender they really are. At this point, I feel like they are a AFC championship game contender. I'm not sure they are a Super Bowl contender, which, to be fair to them, you get the AFC title game, then that's just one game. Anything can happen.
I'm telling you. That's all you're looking for, man.
I think they're certainly one of those teams.
Be lucky that day. That's a part of it, too.
Sad news from Dallas this morning. 24-year-old Dallas Cowboys defensive lineman Marshawn Nealon passed away this morning. Just awful. Awful, tragic news. And a guy who was playing this week, playing on Monday night after
He blocked the punt.
Blocked a kick. Yeah, I know. Unbelievable.
I have no answer for this. When it came through, I'm like, 24, was he not on? No, he just played football on the 3rd.
Adam Schefter with the statement from the Cowboys saying, it is with extreme sadness the Dallas Cowboys share that Marshawn Kneeland tragically passed away this morning. Marshawn was a beloved teammate and member of our organization. Our thoughts and prayers regarding Marshawn are with his girlfriend, Catalina, and his family.
Man, call your people, man. I hope it wasn't anything
Yeah, we
crazy.
don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
No details yet, but my goodness, that's just awful.
That is awful.
You talked about him in the draft, 2 years ago?
Yeah, last year.
He was a second-round pick out of Western Michigan last year.
Goodness sakes.
I have no idea. On
Heartbreaking.
This one. Heartbreaking. They got to deal with this going into going into this weekend too. I've dealt with tragedy, but never this close to a game. I know Kansas City dealt with it, over a decade plus back. That becomes your family.
Wow. Rest in peace, Marshawn Kneeland, 24 years old. Really sad.
That's really sad.
Really, really sad. Coming up for the final hour of the show, Taylor Zarzer going to join us at 9:20. Titans roster move yesterday, plus Mike Borgonzi talking about quarterback Cam Ward. You'll get all that coming up next.
We're really lucky to have Genesis Diamonds here. And a Civ Corporate Jewelers, Genesis is such a refreshing alternative, man. And they stay ahead of the pack also with bigger selections, new and trending styles, and local ownership, man. They can always do what you want right. Price and flexibility, stronger warranties, higher quality standards. And as we head into the holiday season, Genesis is fully stocked. Case after case of dazzling jewelry. I'm talking about rings, earrings, bands, bracelets, colored gemstone jewelry, luxury pre-owned Rolex watches, all at a guaranteed best value price and no commission salespeople. So there's no pressure ever at Genesis to buy anything. And if you're thinking about a holiday engagement, now's the time to get into Genesis and let the experts help you create the ring of her dreams. They've got all the top ring designers. They've got diamonds in every shape and every size, natural and lab grown. Genesis is a breath of fresh air. They're locally owned but internationally connected. They have the buying power that you will not see at other places, man, while never sacrificing on good old-fashioned customer care. You will never be treated like a number at Genesis. Genesis Diamonds, my jeweler. They're located in Green Hills and Cool Springs.
9:02, good morning, live from the 104.5 The Zone studios. I'm Justin Hawkins. The Titans were awarded safety Jarek Reed off waivers from the Seahawks yesterday. Reed was waived by Seattle on Tuesday and was a 6th-round pick back in 2023 and has played in 19 games through 3 NFL seasons. The Nashville Predators are back on the ice tonight in Philly, taking on the Flyers. Puck drop is at 6 o'clock. Week 10 of the NFL season kicks off tonight as the 7-2 Broncos host the 2-6 Vegas Raiders in Denver with kickoff at 7:15 on Prime Video, or you can hear Westwood One's coverage on The Zone starting at 7 o'clock. And some sad news out of Dallas this morning as Cowboys announced that the passing of defensive lineman Marshawn Nealon. A statement from the team: it is extreme sadness that the Dallas Cowboys share that Marshawn Nealon tragically passed away this morning. Marshawn was a beloved teammate and member of our organization. Our thoughts and prayers regarding Marshawn and his girlfriend, Catalina, and his family. Nealon, a 2nd-round pick in 2024 out of Western Michigan, was 24. For all your foundation repair and waterproofing needs, you got to go to USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
Away we go into hour number 4 on this Thursday morning edition of Ramon and Will, fueled by Scooter's Coffee. Voice of the Titans, Taylor Zarzer, going to stop by in 15 minutes via the power of Zoom. Not only will we talk some Titans in the bye week and take stock of where things are at this point of the season, we will also preview Vanderbilt and Auburn. Taylor will be on the call for that. Taylor has had some instant classics the past couple of weeks. Mississippi State's dramatic win over Arkansas. He was there for Texas and Mississippi State as well. We could go anywhere with Taylor. Talk SEC football, talk Titans football. We'll do just that in 15 minutes.
Man, I wonder, has he actually caught up this week on rest, if that's a thing for he and guys like Mike Heath? Like, the steady going aspect of that job is never ending. But here's the thing. You don't take those types of jobs if you're not built for it, too.
That's fair.
I ain't gonna lie to you. I enjoyed the road. Like, just the process of packing up, traveling. Keisha's been like, You're driving a lot. It's like, I kind of like it, though. You know, like, as long as I'm not tired and I get a day or two to catch up on my sleep, I'm good with the process. It's kind of been my life.
I'm not traveling nearly as much as Taylor is, but I have not unpacked like all season. I just constantly have a bag that's just sitting there open in the month of October when it was 3 weeks out of 4 going on road trips.
Yeah.
And it's so much fun. Like, to Mike Keith's point in the last segment, like, it's fun. So many of you that listen to this show, all of you that listen to this show, like, y'all's jobs are working outside when it's cold or hot or like that. We're not digging ditches. No. We are talking about football. We're on a planet talking about people that throw footballs around. Yeah. Like, it's really not hard work at the end of the day. But the sleep deprivation part of it for people like Taylor and people like Mike and the travel part of it, I respect it so much too.
No doubt.
At the same time.
Absolutely.
Anyway, we'll talk with Taylor coming up here in about 15 minutes. Mike Borgonzi yesterday was asked about evaluating Cam Ward this far into his rookie season. And in a long press conference where we learned a lot from the general manager of the Tennessee Titans on his quarterback, he had this to say.
He looks like a rookie quarterback playing on, a team that had the number 1 pick last year. And he is... He's developing, and he's developing with a lot of other rookies too as well, right? So we have 2 rookie wide receivers out there playing, Jim and Alec. We have Gunnar playing out there. So they are learning together, and they're only going to be better because of it. And I have full confidence that Cam, because of his work ethic, because of his drive, that he will fix things that he needs to fix, just like every quarterback in this league, though. And I have full confidence that he's going to get there.
Ramon, what are the biggest things that you see on film with Cam Ward that he needs to fix that Mike Borgonzi's referencing there?
Feet and poise, I think, are 2 of them. Cam's fiery attitude is going to benefit him at some point in his career, but as he's learning how to play this game, the ins and outs of how defenses are working against him also, and just what he's up against, that calmness of, hey, bad play, that's just is what it is. Like, I think on the opposite end of that, you had Bryce Young that was almost a little bit too chill at times. You almost made you question him and his bad moments as a rookie. Just like, does he care? But Cam's, I think, is a little hot right now. If he can bring that to a level of just understanding, I guess, because it's the optics of how it looked. And I'm sure it's not how he is and how he feels, but I think that's a huge part of it. And just his feet and just being a all-around polished quarterback. The Titans knew what they were drafting when they took Cam. They knew he needed work. They knew he needed some tweaking. They knew he needed some tinkering when it came down to how he plays the position. And as soon as he get those two things down right there, I think the world is his when it comes down to what he's capable of doing, especially if Mike Borgonzi builds a roster around him.
Sure. I think with Cam, the primary stat is that he's the most sacked quarterback in the league. The secondary stat, when you look at the analytics, is that the Titans are leaving plays out there. FTN is a stat that I saw on Twitter. Patent Analytics in a tweet about Bo Nix, talking about how Bo Nix actually has the most missed yards or yards left on the field of any quarterback in the NFL this year. Cam Ward is second.
Jeez.
Second most on misses, which are uncatchable passes when the target was open. Second most missed yards this season. And to me, that is not counting drops either. Right. There's also this from Sam Schwartzenstein yesterday, and I won't get into too much of the weeds on this one because this is a very next level stat, but it is added value on scrambles and sacks. How much is your quarterback helping or hurting your team when he doesn't throw the football? Cam Ward is last in that category and is double the number of the next worst quarterback, Jared Goff, in terms of the EPA, the added value of when he is getting sacked. I think it's placing some of the blame. It's also how bad are the sacks? How much are you hurting your football team when you are getting sacked? Cam Ward last in that department, according to a lot of the analytics. There is a lot of room for growth. There is a lot of work together with the offensive line that both sides have got to put in to say, how do we minimize the disaster plays where our bad plays aren't as bad as they are right now? Ramon, that's where I feel like this team is at its worst right now, is that everyone's got the bad moments. Kind of like a golfer. We got Taylor coming up. I'm thinking of golf analogies. Kind of like a golfer that as you get better at the game of golf, your bad shots are still pretty good.
Yeah.
Like there's a video of Scotty Scheffler this past year saying like, oh, I shanked it on a shot with an iron that still got on the green.
Yeah.
Like that is where quarterbacks, like this season, Daniel Jones has mitigated a lot of risk. His bad moments aren't that bad. Patrick Mahomes' bad throws aren't that bad. It's not even just that they don't happen that much. It's like his bad shots are still on the green. Cam Ward's, unfortunately, right now are shanks.
Yeah.
When he's missing badly. He's letting go of the football. He's throwing interceptions. He's fumbling it. He's taking 10-yard sacks in moments where you can't. That's, I think, the biggest issue with Cam right now. How do we raise the floor of Cam's overall quarterbacking ability and just be a little bit more consistent in the middle?
And that's where I think, I know Mike Borgonzi, we didn't bring this up, but he brought up the fact that he doesn't care if it's an offensive or defensive coach that they hire next as a head coach. It's a matter of his leadership and everything else that's involved in it, but you do have to be concerned about who is the quarterback coach and who's the offensive coordinator too, because I wonder now with where Cam is, I don't think he's operating without any parameters, but I do look at his operation and say that should have been fixed. And I think they've attempted to. Mike McCoy said it earlier this season when he took over, like, they're preaching footwork. Brian Callahan said the same. We're talking technique. I just wonder who the guy and guys are going to be at quarterback and OC, and what phase do they restart Cam next year?
Right.
Are you back in rookie mode, which may be a good thing for him, right? Like, resetting your thinking, your technique, how you process moving forward could be good for him.
Sure.
But I think whoever it is going to have to come in with a level of credit and respect that will make Cam want to buy in.
That marriage of offensive play caller to quarterback is just going to be really interesting because you could go let's just put a name to it, Cliff Kingsbury route, and try to marry Cam's skill set to a coach with a system conducive to that skill set?
Yeah.
Or do you try to get Cam a teacher who can change Cam's skill set? It's kind of a chicken or the egg situation. Would you rather change Cam's habits so dramatically and maybe tear things down a little bit to build it back up and try to build some new traits and build some new things? Or do you find a coach who fits Cam? I don't know. We don't have the answer to that. I mean, clearly, they're going to get the best head coach and leader for this organization that they feel like is best for the organization, not just Cam Ward. But within that, you're going to have a quarterback coach or an offensive coordinator or a play caller on offense who probably is brought in because he's best for Cam Ward.
It's, to me, 3 troubled guys, man. And one got corrected, and a fourth one got corrected and got shipped off. That fourth one is Sam Darnold, got corrected and got shipped off.
Yep.
I'm looking at Baker Mayfield and the marriage that he had with Coach Canales, right? And how that corrected him.
Dave Canales now the coach of the Panthers, yeah.
Yeah, I'm looking
His
at
OC in Tampa.
I'm also looking at Daniel Jones, and whether it's Jim Bob Cooter or Coach Shane Steichen that have corrected what he is. But I also look at one specifically, and this is a hard pull. This is a hard draw probably in the scenario that they are in. But I'm looking at T. Martin and Lamar Jackson. T. Martin has found a way to kind of speak to Lamar. And honestly,
Todd Monken, too, the OC there.
But if you look at their relationship on the sideline, you see it looks to me Lamar Jackson respecting what T has to say and how he's coaching up in the style that he's using to kind of get him to be a better quarterback. And you're seeing the benefit of it, too. But like those 3 guys, to me, is where, to your point, the marriage of that franchise quarterback matters a lot because there's a payoff in it.
Yeah.
I don't know if Zach Wilson was just that bad, but the scenario that he was thrown in doesn't seem that good. We're seeing also right now Dave Canales, the head coach, and Carolina kind of speak differently to what Bryce Young is. Heck, they beat the Green Bay Packers this weekend, with a lot of his assistants. So that's kind of where, like I said, what OC and quarterback coach are they bringing in is going to matter a ton in Cam's future.
Coming up next, voice of the Titans, Taylor Zarzer joins us. He's going to spend the rest of the show with us through the power of Zoom. We'll talk to him about the Titans at the bye week, what Mike Bergonzi had to say yesterday. Plus, we'll talk a little bit of Vanderbilt football. He's got Vandy and Auburn in the SEC network this weekend. All that and more with our good friend Taylor Zarzer coming up next.
It's Ramon Foster for Bronze Motorsports, man. If you've seen a vehicle that's done up around the city, more than likely it came out of the Hendersonville shop, man. They're located at 789 West Main Street in Hendersonville, Tennessee. Their socials are, as the name I just told you, at Bronze Motorsports, man, and they will get you right. They've personally helped me out on my vehicles too, man, where they've elevated some stuff that I wanted. That could be the sound system. Definitely love that. I got some plans now for a vehicle that I'm trying to decide what I want to do. The first thing, it's probably going to be the exhaust, but here's what they'll do for you. Whether it's subtle or custom complete rebuild, man, complete custom rebuild, they deliver cutting-edge style and performance for all vehicles, including the most exclusive and exotic vehicles, too. If you're a Jeep or Bronco owner, they can help you with the off-road performance, man. They're the undisputed leader in that world. They can give you something aggressive, an off-road appearance and performance that has made Bronze Motorsports the undisputed leader in off-road upgrades. They got everything that you want. I'm talking about tire and wheel packages, lift kits, lighting kits, winches, interior and audio customization, graphics. They do wraps. Whatever you want, they got it for you. Simply put, holiday season coming up. Get over there, man, and get something done to your vehicle. Dream, design, build is what they believe in. Go check them out, 789 West Main Street in Hendersonville, Tennessee, or hit them up on their social medias at Bronze Motorsports.
Ramona Will, fueled by Scooters Coffee on 104.5 The Zone, locally owned in Rivergate, Smyrna, Brentwood, White House, or Mount Juliet. With Ramon Foster, I'm Will Bowling. Pleased to be joined today by a man who is talking into microphones everywhere. He is voice of the Titans, Taylor Zarzer, on the call for Vanderbilt and Auburn this upcoming weekend as well in Nashville during the bye week. Taylor, what's up? Good morning.
Morning.
Morning, my friends. I do a different college game each weekend, and a requirement on each visit is that I get a running shirt from each of the different SEC schools. And as I came back to Charlotte for a couple of days this week, before we get rid of this home that we had here in Charlotte, I found something that I thought the two of you might like.
Okay.
That I don't know if you can see all into this.
Oh, we're pulling it up right now. All right. We're on a little bit of a delay, so we're probably about to see it on our YouTube channel. Describe it for us. What do you got?
Well, it's your favorite college, and it's Ramon's favorite college.
Oh,
that
heck
I'm wearing,
yeah. Nice. You can see it now. Heck yeah.
That I'm wearing here this morning.
Nice.
Just for the two of you.
The Pantone 151C. I love it.
Oh, real
Good
one?
stuff.
That's a real one. Yep. One of my favorite people in the world is Bill Martin, who of course runs the communications department there in Knoxville, Tennessee. He used to be in Starkville, Mississippi, and he is a great friend. And he handed me this a few years ago, and so I'm wearing it proudly this morning. Thankfully, my mother, who lives in Mobile, Alabama, is not listening to this program right now.
Well, Taylor, it also seems to be a requirement that you have games that go down to the final possession in the SEC. You've had 2 barn burners the last 2 weeks.
Yeah, it's been fun. Ole Miss, Washington State actually was a pretty good one a few weeks ago, and thankfully I made my way to you in Las Vegas by way of Oxford. That was an interesting trip, but got there to you. But yeah, the last couple of weeks we thought Oklahoma, South Carolina would be a good one. It was not. But Texas, Mississippi State was crazy. What a comeback that was for the Longhorns, and they're still in the college football playoff picture because of it. And then last week, as wild as Mississippi State's heartbreaking loss was at home to Texas, I still cannot believe they beat Arkansas last Saturday in Fayetteville. The Razorbacks and their penalties had a lot to do with that. But yes, those last 2 weeks have been thrilling, and this is the 3rd consecutive year I've called the Vanderbilt-Auburn game on television. Wow. And Auburn won it here 2 years ago, and Vandy won it there last year. So excited to call it again, and obviously there's a lot of intrigue in that matchup. Vandy's still alive in the college football playoff picture, and Auburn is changing coaches, and we're wondering who's going to play quarterback and how many of them are going to play against Vanderbilt this weekend.
We are calling it, Taylor, the Battle of Nashville because there are so many Auburn fans in Nashville, as I'm sure you have.
So true.
You already knew, and obviously a lot of Vanderbilt fans with them being here. Let's start there. I know we want to talk some Titans too, but we've got so much to get to with you. Let's go ahead and start with the game you've got this upcoming Saturday, because DJ Durkin has head coach experience. The interim coach bump is a real thing at any level of football, and Auburn has a defense that can keep them in any game they are going to play. Keldrick Falk is a guy that you and I are going to be talking a lot about, and Ramon as well, in the draft season as an edge rusher possibility to be in two-tone blue next season. What stands out about just the matchup, Taylor, on the field and the way this Auburn defense can have some success against Vanderbilt on offense?
Yeah, I think that both teams' strength will be on the field at the same time, and both teams' weakness will be on the field at the same time. I do think that Vanderbilt has a solid defense. I think it's an improved defense from the one that we've seen, Vanderbilt teams in the past. But Auburn does not have the ability to stretch the field vertically. At least their quarterbacks have not shown that ability so far this year, the way, say, Texas did last week to the Commodores. And I would think that Auburn will try to play in a phone booth against Vanderbilt this week. But when Auburn's defense is on the field, I really believe this, guys. I think that is going to be the best defense that Vanderbilt has seen all season. Wow. I think that, statistically, you would look at it and you would say, well, Auburn's got a top 10 rushing defense. They, in total yards, they're ranked 22nd. But that, in part, is because their defense is on the field a lot, and it wears down in the fourth quarter. If things are just normal and Auburn was able to score some points on offense, I really believe this. I don't think there are 5 defenses in college football that are better than DJ Durkin's defense. I think this is a championship level defense that Auburn has. And it's why at 4-5, 4 of their 5 losses have been 1-score games. And all of us may argue that they had the best chance of winning the game they lost by double digits, which was the Georgia game. So their defense is always going to keep them in the football game. And I certainly would expect that this Saturday. Durkin and his ability to connect to those guys has been something that's been really impressive for me to watch the last couple of years. And those guys, you just mentioned Keldrick Falk. He's one of the best players on that defense. They've got a guy, Robert Woodyard, who's also sensational. He's always around the football. Kieron Crawford from Memphis is another one that's great. And then you've got a player in Xavier Atkins that makes all the tackles for the Auburn Tigers. But anyway, they've got I think they have 4 or 5 guys that are going to play in the National Football League very soon that play on that side of the ball. And I didn't even get to the true freshmen. They have a ton of guys that'll be out there on the field that are instant impact guys for Auburn. So Diego Pavia and Vanderbilt, I think, have their hands full. But the thing with Pavia is, against a Durkin defense, is Pavia has beaten these guys. He beat them at New Mexico State a couple of years ago. He beat them last year in Auburn. Getting him on the ground has caused DJ Durkin fits, and I know we'll talk to him tomorrow afternoon. We have our coaches meeting with him about that. But I kind of like the Missouri game a couple weeks ago, Will. I expect this to be a 1-score game. It's just, the big question I have is just, can Auburn score any points, and will they keep the same quarterback on the field for the entire game?
We're joined by Taylor Zarzer, voice of the Titans, and many other hats that he wear across the SEC. Taylor, with that being said, is this one of the first times in covering Vanderbilt football where they're actually going in with a little bit of pressure? I'm sure getting that conversation from Coach Clark Lee is going to be fascinating on how they're approaching now this playoff run that they're in to kind of close out this season, Auburn's defense being a hurdle for them.
Yeah, and I know Clark's going to say, what a great position to be in. We dreamt of being in this position forever. And here we are with pressure on us. If Vanderbilt wins out, I think they're in the college football playoff. Mm-hmm. And I realize, if you look at the rankings right now, they're number 16 and they're going to need some help in front of them. But those teams in front of them are going to beat each other. Texas plays Georgia. Texas Tech plays BYU this week. Oklahoma's got at Alabama next week. The Big 12 is going to sort itself out. I certainly don't think 3 Big 12 teams are going to stay in front of them. Virginia and Louisville are both in front of them. If Vanderbilt runs the table in the SEC, a 2-loss Vanderbilt's going to be more impressive than a 1-loss ACC team. So if they're able to do that, look, I know Auburn and Kentucky may not help them that much, but simply winning games is going to help them. And then in the last game against Tennessee, if Tennessee is able to get through their next couple opponents, and I know that down in Gainesville it's been a house of horrors for the Vols, but that'd be a big win for Vanderbilt to finish the season. So yeah, there is pressure, Ramon, on Vanderbilt right now to stay in the top 25, but I'm sure Clark Lee and all Commodores welcome that pressure compared to, hey, let's try to find a way to be respectable, not be embarrassing, not humiliate ourselves. Right. That's what Vanderbilt football was for a long time. Last year, they were a relevant team that made it to bowl eligibility, and now they are a legitimate top 25 team. And really, just a closing thought on them, Ramon.
Yeah.
The reason why they're a top 25 team is because of the people that are built like you that play for Vanderbilt. Yeah. Truly, they have not ever, in my lifetime, had Ramon Fosters that are in front of the skill players. They've had skill players, through the years, and they've put them in the National Football League. They haven't had NFL offensive linemen like Ramon Foster, and they do right now. They have guys that are some of the best linemen in the Southeastern Conference, and that's making all the difference.
We're very prideful in all our fan bases. I say the SEC, but I'm sure the Big 10, Big 12, ACC, everybody else has that sense of pride of home games. Vanderbilt now has a crowd showing up also, Taylor. How's that experience been for you, seeing, what would have been 18,000 people in the stand now turn into 60+ thousand I think they have inside of that stadium? What has that been like on the game day experience side of it? Because I think you're going to need that this weekend against an Auburn team like Will tells us all the time. We see it who has a huge fan base in Nashville, Tennessee.
And by the way, I'm silencing my phone from the Auburn fans that live in Nashville that want extra access to the game, because you're right, they are everywhere. And I've been hearing from them this week. I have done a lot of games in old Dudley Field, aka Vanderbilt Stadium, now called First Bank Stadium. And for the longest time, we as a crew were so frustrated that the school would not make minimum improvements to that place. And all our frustration is over now. That place is beautiful. They've done an amazing job with it. Finally, they've done an amazing job with it. They have these new luxury suites that are in the corner of the end zone that look like Colorado chalets that are really cool, that I'm sure are going to be filled on Saturday. On the opposite side, you walk right out of the Vanderbilt Marriott Hotel and you walk into this unbelievable VIP experience in that end zone. It was a live construction site when I did games there a couple of years ago, and now it's a beautiful completed stadium. And you're right, there are going to be tens of thousands of Vanderbilt fans that are going to fill that stadium. Yes, there are going to be a collection of Auburn fans too, but it'll be packed on Saturday with Vandy fans, and that's a wonderful thing. As somebody that loves Nashville, that absolutely had to get back there to live there, and thank God the Titans have given me this opportunity to do it. I'm really proud of our town right now and how they've showed out for Vanderbilt this season. And this has been the dream of people like Clark Lee that are from Nashville that get to fill up this place now. And look, I know Diego Pavia, assuming he doesn't get a 14th year of eligibility, is going to be out after this year. But as long as they have Jerry Kill, Tim Beck, and Clark Lee running the show there, I think Vanderbilt is here to stay. And that's a great thing for our city, and it's a great thing for the Southeastern Conference. But it'll be packed on Saturday. I cannot wait to be there.
No doubt about it. Taylor Zarzer, our guest, voice of the Titans, on the call for Vandy and Auburn this weekend. Speaking of people who are, quote-unquote, here to stay, Taylor, I wanted to ask you about Ole Miss and Lane Kiffin, because you were there for that Washington State game that, let's face it, was maybe their what in the world are you doing Ole Miss game of the year? Because they always kind of have one of those, right? And maybe the evolution of Ole Miss from last year to this year is that they won that game and maybe would have dropped it a season ago. Looking at their kind of red carpet into the college football playoff, they're going to beat the Citadel this weekend. Spoiler alert. They're going to probably beat Florida at home, probably. They're going to have a bye. They're going to go to state to play the Egg Bowl. They're even due one loss that they can probably have. From the long-term perspective and just looking from the 30,000-foot view, because he's in the mix for every head coaching position, what has it been like kind of having a front row seat to get to know Lane Kiffin and watching the evolution and maturity of Lane Kiffin and this Ole Miss team, and how legit of a title contender do you think that team is this year, considering you were kind of there for their big almost slip-up moment this year?
Yeah, let's start with them on the field. I thought they were the second best team in college football last year. I thought that they should have played in the national championship game against Ohio State, and they blew it when they lost in the swamp to Florida, and they didn't make the playoffs. Had they won that game, I really think they would have gone through the playoffs and gotten to the national championship game and lost to Ohio State. I thought they were better than Notre Dame, and I thought they were better than most of the teams that are in the playoffs. And the problem with Lane Kiffin teams is while he is an incredible play caller. I realize he's not calling the plays, but he's creating all the plays, and Charlie Weiss Jr. is calling them. But his offense in his mind and how it works when an offense is humming, I think he's the best there is at any level of football. And I think that his program and his players have benefited from that. And when he has a good signal caller like Jackson Dart or Trinidad Chambliss or Austin Simmons, you certainly see it on display. The big question I've always had with Lane Kiffin teams is does his behavior and his attitude permeate through a locker room, and does it cost you something when you have to get physical and win a football game? And the answer has been, I think, yes, through the years, that sort of behavior, being a little silly, has been an impact on the team when you have to win. I see a guy that's been hardened by all of this, and I see a head coach being around him this year that is matured, and that and his team is going to benefit from that. I think there's a real chance they're going to run the table these next few weeks. They're going to make their first ever trip to the SEC championship game, which is exactly what the SEC wants, because Ole Miss will fill that place up at Mercedes-Benz Stadium in Atlanta. In a game you're starting to wonder how much it matters, that's what you want, is a team like Ole Miss to be in that game. But I think this is a great team and has a real chance to get to the semifinals, if not the national championship. They're better on defense than they've ever been with Pete Golding, the old Alabama defensive coordinator there at Ole Miss this year. I also see a guy that is in the happiest days of his life, Will, as the head coach in Oxford. And I would be shocked if he left to go to LSU or to Auburn or to Florida or to Penn State. If he took another college job, to me, that means something fell apart with Lane and Keith Carter, the athletic director there, because Lane has never been happier. His ex-wife lives back there. They're close. Just look at the social media pictures.
I didn't know.
His son is the quarterback at Oxford High School. His daughter Landry obviously rules the roost and runs the town, basically, even though she's dating an LSU player. These are truly, I've known him for a long time. Going back to his days as assistant coach in Alabama, I had him on my show every week when he was at FAU, and I worried about him. He didn't make the best choices for himself during some of that time, and he would tell you that. This guy is in the best days of his life right now, and I think he'd be crazy to mess all of that up by taking another college job. Now, if he took an NFL job in a town that I think would continue to allow him to have the greatest days of his life, then that would make some sense. But I cannot see him leaving Oxford for another college job. So I think it's going to be interesting to see what happens these next few months. But there's a big part of me that would love to see him stay there because he's so happy and his family's so happy. And Ole Miss football is one of the best programs in the country because of him.
We have gotten Lane Kiffin of the Titans calls. Those people have called in.
I can't believe that's a real thing.
Let's talk a little bit of Titans. Taylor, got time for one more segment. We're going to talk about the Titans at the bye week. Some takeaways from Mike Borgonzi yesterday. Where the Titans can grow out of the bye. More with Taylor Zarzer coming up next.
Is your concrete in need of repair? Maybe your sidewalk is shifted on you, your driveway cracked and sinking, or maybe your porch steps have moved. Shifting concrete can create a dangerous situation, just trip hazard around your home. It's also just a big eyesore. It's Ramon Foster, and whatever is going on with your concrete, call United Structural Systems. Ask them about their polyurethane foam injections. You've heard about USS for a long time. It's the same company that's provided superior foundation repair and waterproofing to Middle Tennessee since 1994. Well, they can also fix your sunken or settling concrete. USS uses polyurethane foam injections to lift and repair your sinking concrete in a matter of minutes. Lifted concrete can be walked on immediately or even driven on after about 30 minutes. So don't go through the long, expensive process of ripping out and replacing concrete. Reach out to the company I trust, man. You can go to USSTN.com. That's USSTN.com or call them 615-488-7855. United Structural Systems.
Work, it's what we do, part of who we are. There is joy in work. And no matter what size your business is, the dedicated commercial team at Two Rivers Ford will find the work trucks and vans that keep your business moving. And Two Rivers is the only dealer that offers a 90-day free fleet management program that can help you save money on every single mile. The Commercial Vehicle Center at Two Rivers Ford. We work for you.
Wrapping up the show on Ramon and Will, fueled by Scooter's Coffee. Ramon Foster and Will Bowling. Loaded show tomorrow featuring Brent Hubbs of AllQuest, Taylor Twellman of MLS, Apple TV, previewing Nashville SC Inter Miami, Tate Matthews and Ron Slay coming up tomorrow. We've got Taylor Zarzer on with us for one more segment, talk a little Titans to wrap up the show. Taylor, Mike Borgonzi was, I thought, excellent yesterday for nearly a half hour, talking about things that you don't hear general managers be that honest about mid-season. What stands out to you about his vision for what is next as he articulated it yesterday, and how this team improves heading into a month where we don't have to leave Booth 7 at Nissan Stadium in the month of November?
What a wonderful thing that is. First and foremost, shameless plug. Please listen to the OTP this week featuring Mike Borgonzi, the general manager of the Tennessee Titans. I think this guy is extremely experienced in the National Football League in a front office, and he has been through every situation in the league. And as everyone just seems, not everyone, loud people seem to be just naturally ridiculing every little detail. And I get it. The last few years have been rough. I'm not trying to deny that. Everybody would admit the last few years have been rough. And going through 1-8 so far this season isn't any fun. Everybody wants to put a winner on the field. The Titans having a championship level team for a few years makes people frustrated that they don't have that right now. But the truth is when you don't have that, you need to identify someone that is the perfect person to rebuild a roster. And they've done that. And I think that yesterday when you watched that press conference, or if you listen to the OTP, you would say, this is our guy. This guy was the assistant general manager in Kansas City when they were 2-14, and they were the worst team in the National Football League. And with the help of the personnel department and the entire front office in Kansas City, they built that roster through the draft. They retained those players that they drafted. They developed an entire roster, and those players that they drafted run that team. And that's exactly what he wants to do here in Nashville, too. And if we're looking at how he started, and we're still putting studs in the ground, but if we're still putting stakes in the ground with studs on them, if you're looking at how it started, I would say he's done exactly what any Titans fan would want you to do at the beginning stages of building a team this offseason with those players. And people are saying, but he got rid of this guy and he got rid of that guy and he didn't retain this guy. He didn't draft those guys. The guys that he did draft this past April are flourishing. They're developing. We're seeing it. And if we let that guy and his personnel department continue to do that, then I have absolutely no doubt that the Tennessee Titans are going to be a playoff team, a perennial playoff team again. That's the way that you build a team in the National Football League. Now, I don't know that they're going to win a Super Bowl. There's a lot of things that have to come along with that. You absolutely have to crush those moments. I mean, look at Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills. They're very good every year, but they have these extraordinarily heartbreaking moments in the playoffs every single year. I don't know what's going to happen once you get to the playoffs, but I do know you're going to get to the playoffs if you let this man continue to execute what he did this past offseason. Getting this head coach right is going to be very important this offseason. That goes along with it, Will. There's no denying that. You've got to find a guy that connects well with Cam Ward, that can coach him up and get the best out of him. But I do really believe that Mike Borgonzi, Chad Brinker, and the personnel department, Reg McKenzie, that you name it, those guys so far have done a really good job of laying a foundation. And I loved hearing Mike talk about that yesterday. I thought he did an excellent job. He pulled no punches. He was genuine. He was candid. And I hope Titans fans really appreciate that they have the right guy picking the players.
It's well said. Nothing else I need to add?
Yeah.
That's well articulated. Are you getting some sleep this week, Taylor? Are you enjoying some time with just one game to broadcast this week? And I say just like that's nothing. It's definitely not nothing.
I got 9 hours of sleep last night, and I feel like a new human being today.
Good for you.
I will call any play-by-play you want the rest of the day after getting 9 hours of sleep. But I'm excited to get back to Nashville. I'd like to plead with the FAA to allow my flight to get back to Nashville tomorrow morning. And I cannot wait to call Vandy Auburn on SEC Network. I'm not really sure what I'm supposed to do with myself on Sunday. I might still go to Nissan Stadium. But, it's going to be great this weekend. I can't wait to get back and fired up to be with you. And, Ramon, you are such a big part of what we do with the Titans, and I'm really grateful to you. You are so supportive of us as you've gone on to crush it with the Vols. But your guy that's sitting in there with you is a rock star.
No doubt.
And he's been such a great teammate to me. And we're going to have some big moments to call together in the future. I cannot wait for that.
I tell him that all the time.
It's true.
I tell him that all the time.
Y'all are both great teammates.
Absolutely.
I appreciate it. Good stuff. All right, Taylor, well, enjoy 9 hours of sleep and the things that you can do today off of 9 hours of sleep. Appreciate the time, and have a good call on Saturday.
Thank you, my brothers.
Appreciate you, Taylor.
Yes, sir. Taylor Zarzer with us to wrap up the show this morning, and that does it. That's a quick 4 hours.
It was.
It's a good day at the office.
It was a solid day. We had a good conversation, good reaction to Borgonza. We got that one a little bit later yesterday. And then, we got it later than everybody else did, but it was fun.
Back at it tomorrow morning, we will have Brent Hubbs, Taylor Twellman, Tate Matthews, and Ron Slay to kick off your weekend. The Lucas Panzica and Robert Walsh show is next.
But remember at all times, your Twitter fingers and your mic is always hot, baby.